Hello, Smite Draft League, and welcome to semi-finals action for the Immortal division. It's the defending champion Sunbreakers versus the hungry Eclipse. My name is AnthonyMalum, and I'm joined by Ztan. And Ztan, my man, are we excited and are we in for a treat?
Absolutely, Anthony. I am honestly super excited with this matchup. You know, I've got folks in here that I've played with and around for some time now. So, you know, really excited to see these guys playing on different teams, doing well for that matter. You know, happy to see these folks get to finals or semifinals, excuse me. Uh really excited to see how this goes. Really going to be interested in this duo matchup here. FN7, Insert, both spectacular supports in this division. Be very interested to see how this plays out. We got the Yorm van first.
Well, funny enough, you said it perfect. You said you're happy to see these players, you know, make it to the finals. One of them will, and one of them will be facing off against Wild Inferno. So the matchup on the other end of the mountain is not an easy one, but to get there alone is beyond difficult, and a lot of storylines to kind of break down individually. FN7 is somebody who, through SDL lore alone, has to be one of the most hungry players for a championship, having come so close so far in our previous two seasons. And on the Sunbreakers side, I mean, defending champions, and you've got two of them on that team. You've got ShadyByrd, you got Zombie Crusher. Oh, excuse me. You get three. ShadyByrd, Zombie Crusher, who was a champion for Godlike. You got Koala on there. I mean, Sunbreakers, they got a lot to prove. They got a lot to hold on to.
Yeah, you know, I was with FN7 for two of those almosts. Really hope he can finally get him one here. Giannis on the first pick. Now, you know, ban wise so far, like Sunbreakers, it's all jungle. Which is perfectly fair. Pele something you don't want to deal with. Susano's strong. Set's good. You know, Raijin, Kama, Yorm coming out for the other side. And we got the Thor. I love the Thor here. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, and while this was a a patch ago now, really the meta's kind of been in that similar place for the last couple patches. We know Chernabog is top of meta. We know that assassins can be serious flex picks, but with the Giannis lock-in going to Poncho, that's something that they dealt with in the previous round, having been a consistent target band. There was no interest in giving Poncho that Giannis, and for good reason. It's an incredible pick for Poncho. The kind of ultimates that I've seen come out of Poncho are just disgusting, and that is picking it first for Giannis. You normally look at it and you say, "Oh, they're setting up for an ultimate." When it's Poncho, you're saying, "Oh, they're setting up a hard carry."
Well, and you know, Giannis just as a god, he brings so much to a team. You know, he's got decent clear, he's got decent pressure in mid, the rotational ability, and then as you kind of transition into that mid to late game, the ability to move your entire team from one side of the map to the other, he brings a lot. And when you have a player that plays him well, it can be a spectacular pick.
I like the Ares lock in here in response. That will do a lot to keep that Giannis under control. But I want to go back to Eclipse again, because with Ganesh, Shibalanke, with that Giannis, they have an insane team fight. And while Sunbreakers have a good team fight, Chernabog being top of meta, Thor and Chernabog being combined for two really strong teamfight characters, not to mention the initiation of an Ares. I will say that Sunbreakers already has an inherent weakness of if an Ares isn't doing damage, an Ares isn't being Ares. And Eclipse have a team that can kind of always be good in a team fight, even if they're 3, maybe even 4 levels down.
Yeah, now I like Ares, but you know, Ares has kind of run into some problems for me. Um, Especially with gods like Ganesh who kind of have an instant cast ult. The addition of Absolution into the magic item tree uh has provided some serious issues for gods like Ares and Daji
You are
because
finished!
it's just an area cleanse that can be instacasted with gods like Ganesh, and if used appropriately can kind of neuter some of these gods that rely on these chains and these CCs.
A mighty
It'll be interesting
sword!
to see how they build it here. Now, the Achilles, the Alkwong,
My
I
goodness.
see pressure. I see pressure coming out of Eclipse. I see just mm, absolute pressure.
This is a really strong draft from Eclipse. I mean, these team fights are going to be a challenge for Sunbreakers
Face the
throughout
wrath of a
the
sorceress
majority of the
scorned.
game. That's an insane way to draft a team. And I mean, Sunbreakers hasn't drafted a bad team. I like the Morgan Le Fay for Zombie. It's gonna be good, but it's so hard to see anything
Eh,
as good against a team
Yeah,
fight as strong as Eclipse.
I struggle to see how Thor, how Rat, how anybody is going to walk into Ganesh, Achilles, Quang. I it's going to be rough. That is going to be a hard team to fight into.
So difficult. But let's not wait anymore. Semifinal time between Sunbreakers and Eclipse. Let's go into game. We'll meet you there. The season is winding down. We've got one of the best matchups so far to help get us towards the end. My name's AnthonyMalum, joined by Ztan, and it's Eclipse on the Order side, and Sunbreakers looking to defend that championship in Immortal on the Chaos side. Ztan, we talked about the pressure of Eclipse, so take me through as we get into the first laning phase. What are the most immediate things we need to look for?
Well, now, initially the first thing I look at is the mid matchup, Rat Morgan, Quang Giannis. Now, I think Rat Morgan should outclear here. Being careful here to kind of say too much, but Rat Morgan should outclear that. Giannis and Al Kwong don't really have their pressure yet. So I'm not expecting a whole lot to happen in the mid lane super early. The big thing I think to watch here is probably going to be in the duo lane. I know Looney, I know X-Ball, and he's going to look for pressure on that.
A lot of action across the map already. As you can see, health bars dropping low. BoolCakes had to take things easy in solo lane, got pressured back to tower, and Frost is going to make him stand there and just kind of wait it out. Frost has been a nasty solo laner. Hercules became a problem, and Eclipse began getting respect bans for it. So Frost definitely coming in with an upper hand. ShadyByrd is currently on the left side of the map doing the shield buff for the Sunbreakers. So Eclipse will be pressured out of lane. Just like Ztan said, that dual lane going to be something to watch.
Yeah, the rat rotation over to the shield buff, that's something you've been saying as the season has progressed is especially after the addition of the totem on the right side there, jungles are making sure these days to be on that shield buff and to be on that totem. The pressure that it provides and that shield buff moving in. Typically, I've been seeing kind of ADCs grabbing the first one. sometimes you throw it on the support if you've got a situation like this where, you know, you've got an Ares who's just gonna kind of be running at them. But it's a big buff to have. Now, was that Shell?
That was an early shell coming out from Insert. Now Insert actually going pretty aggressive to try to get chains onto Looney, gonna get silenced out, but no immediate damage in response. A lot of action on the right side of the map as well. Eclipse setting up for an early blue buff invade. Sunbreakers just looking for a response, but they cannot secure it. The blue buff victory is going to go to Eclipse on a 3-man rotation.
And, you know, that's a good start. That is how you start building a lead. You get these little invades, you get these little bits of gold, and you build it into a much larger lead. Now, FN7 and Looney here are dropping a couple of minions into the tower. Gonna be a bit of a loss of gold. It's not exactly what you would want to see, but it's not too big of a deal as long as it doesn't keep happening.
Coach Ztan dropping notes.
You know,
Gotta keep the guys honest. Oh, Koala taking a lot of poke back there. Gotta be careful on that Cherno. Does hit level 5 first, though.
That's the problem you have laning into X-Ball is, like, most hunters can't damage you and clear the wave with their autos. You know, Rama can do it, but even then, if you're standing to the side, he's got to kind of angle it and not hit the whole wave. X-Ball with those branching bolas, he will hit you the whole time he's clearing that. And it's one of the best things about the god. It just makes it difficult to fight into him. And not to mention the free damage he's getting there, you know,
yeah, exactly. I was going to talk about
passive.
Yeah, I've been watching these junglers. In particular, I've been watching Byburthe, who has put a lot of attention to that solo side. We saw that with the early silver buff. We saw that with the blue buff invade. And in response, Zombie Crusher had gone to the green buff in mid. We've seen a lot of Ratatasker on the left side of the map. What I'm curious, and I'd like your thoughts on, while we still kind of have this build-up process coming up in 5 minutes, is do you want to see the Sao Kwang put more attention towards duo as opposed to solo, or do you like trying to keep that Thor down, like we see right now, actually?
I mean, the problem with putting his attention on duo is you're really just flipping a coin on getting enough damage. Well, now, as I say that...
That's a lot of damage on Koala. Does get into the wall, but is it enough? Inserts around. The dash will get away. It's going to be a bit off the mark of the Dark Pillars. And it's going to be an escape from Koala. Lands back down. No escape used. Both FN7 and Looney are going to be safe from it. But the big thing there was Koala was able to get away thanks to a perfectly timed dash and good presence of mind from Insert to be right there and be Johnny on the spot to get his ADC out of there.
And that's kind of what I was about to get into before that happened, is like ganking Chernobog. If you're not post mid-game and have some serious burst, he's getting out. If Ao Kwang is going to gank him, now's the time.
Now is the time indeed. Showing up at this purple buff invade, looking for Koala, whose ultimate is down, but he has to back out because Ratatasker is here and through the Cosmos is used. Poncho also here to try to make sure Eclipse can get out of there, but now Poncho is actually in some trouble. Is able to get the perfect portal out of there, so Sunbreakers will find themselves no picks. A successful purple buff invade from Eclipse. Both teams playing very sneaky slimy right now, and I kind of love it. We're at 6 minutes. We're still at nothing, with barely 300 gold separating the two teams. I mean, that's a sign of a lot of skill and a sign of a close matchup to come.
Yeah, you know, they're playing carefully, and rightfully so, right? Like, you have an Ao Kwang in this game. That is the last thing in the world that you want to hand, you know, a lead to due to some small dumb decision you made. He gets a couple of cheeky kills, and all of a sudden you've got a raid boss Ao Kwang on your hands. It absolutely makes sense for them to kind of play carefully, and I'm loving how they're doing it so far. Both teams are farming very well. As you mentioned a moment ago, you know, the gold difference is negligible. Even with that blue buff invade, stuff like that. Now, Byburthe might be in trouble.
Bit off way more than he could chew. It's going to be a first blood for Sunbreakers. Through Space and Time will come out way too late just to remind them Giannis exists, and that's a big first blood for Sunbreakers. They finally got something out of the kind of the way they've been moving around the map. They've been trying to counter that Alkwang and where he goes. They finally go to the same place, and what happens? It's a kill for the Ratatasker.
Yeah, and you know, great play there. It looked like Rat was kind of at the backs checking just to, you know, see if anything was up he could take, and he found an Alkwang. He had Morgan there.
Get out of there, Looney.
Stuns. Uh-oh.
That's going to be a stun. Looney already low. Going to use that ultimate just for good measure, but it might not be an easy escape through the Cosmos. Comes out, and that's all that's going to be needed. LuneyToons will hit the grayscale. 2 kills for Sunbreakers, both on the Ratatasker. If you've ever played against a Ratatasker, you know that 2 early kills like that spell trouble for Eclipse.
I, as it happens, have played a lot of Ratatasker. I am something of a Ratatasker enjoyer, as it happens. Love the god. He's fun. His kit's fun. The god's fun. There's nothing bad about him. 2 kills, absolutely where you would want him to go right now. You know, Thor, Achilles, they're very evenly matched. The lead on that Alkwang coming from the Ratatasker is gonna be big. Alkwang is a god that you definitely want ahead. He performs exceedingly well from ahead, and he does still do damage from behind. But when you can get this kind of lead on him and item, it's a big deal. And I think Rat can influence this game a lot if he can keep building this lead.
And as we get close to 10 minutes and we take a look at the charts, you can see 1,000 gold currently favoring Sunbreakers. A lot of it does come from that 2 kills, as well as a few invades here and there. But Eclipse has really controlled that invade game, especially on that left-hand side. Now, you wanted pressure, and you said pressure is the key for Eclipse. And so far, we're really seeing them have to play off the back foot and respect the rotations of the Ratatasker. So let me ask you, when should we look for that pressure to really come alive for Eclipse? Is it the Stygian Beacon? Is it after?
I think the strength in Eclipse is definitely going to come from their team fight. I don't think it's going to come from the lanes. Their team fight together is disgusting.
Speaking of together, there's 4 of them heading towards solo. Elfrost must have really made somebody on Sunbreakers a bit mad. No escape going to be used as well. Elfrost saves Fatal Strike. Going to fade out through the Cosmos and consuming power, and they just now are going to kill Frost. That is a significant amount used for the solo laner, and that makes it an easy Gold Fury on the left-hand side for Eclipse. There's no way that was
yeah, no, I'm calling that as a win for Eclipse. Wow.
My goodness.
That is a lot of ults dropped for a solo when Stygian Beacon is up in 45 seconds. And you are now down Ares ult, Morgan ult, and Rat ult.
And Gold Fury.
That's rough. I do feel like that was a bit of an overcommitment from Sunbreakers.
They're going to have to make up for it at the Stygian Beacon, and like you said, it's going to be so difficult without those ultimates online. So it's going to be an interesting team fight that breaks out around there. Insert and Koala both around this purple, but Looney will secure it for themselves. And both Alkwang and Giannis could potentially have the threat of lurking over, but with a deep ward, Sunbreakers, not quite yet. Matter of fact, they gotta be careful. ShadyByrd lurking. Alkwang will get away. Matter of fact, BoolCakes is in the sky right now. So Sunbreakers may have actually managed to get themselves the Stygian
they're gonna
Beacon
get it
just by presence of mind. I mean, we were both completely writing them off for that, and I think rightfully so, but a nice play to still clean it up and just kind of play off the map awareness.
Well, I mean, you get the Stygian Beacon pretty easily if no one on the opposing team shows up to claim it.
Yeah, that is true.
As it turns out.
Oh, Looney and Koala gonna throw.
Koala might be in trouble here.
Koala's gonna just walk into the grayscale, essentially, and Looney will have himself a solo kill, making it the first kill for Eclipse. Couldn't have come at a better time. The team, as aside from that Stygian Beacon, which was an oddity, we're seeing a bit of a trend up for Eclipse, and you were just telling me about when Eclipse was going to come online, how long we had to wait to see the kind of pressure this offers, and we haven't seen a team fight pressure. We've seen Eclipse start to figure things out slowly in each lane, and everything come together. I think around those first objective fights, around these mid-game rotations for beacons, for pyros, I think this game is about to get a lot more interesting.
Oh yeah, once we get into the grouping stage, the team fight phase, which, you know, you're not really going to have to wait more than another probably 4 to 6 minutes. Some of these objectives coming up, we're going to have our, you know, firefight, the respawn of Stygian Beacon. That's when we're going to be looking for Eclipse's pressure, because their team fight is excellent. Now, not to say that Sunbreakers isn't. The MLF, the Thor, the Rat, the Ares.
The Ares pulls in and no escape. Dark Pillars in response, also look in the sky because there's BoolCakes and a Through the Cosmos used. Poncho does get to the fight just in the nick of time to help out Eclipse. They've got the man advantage, but they got to get the abilities on the right person, and so far they've been split, and Byburthe is paying the price for it. Koala's going to use that global ultimate to get here as well, and Sunbreakers turns to Tide, and they're doing damage, but still no picks, and Frost is getting away. There's going to be no chase potential from the Sunbreakers. They actually don't pick up a kill on Frost there, who I thought would be maybe the easiest target. Looks like they're going to maybe try to get a Pyromancer. Poncho not going to contest right this second, but he is heading that way, and they're having problems killing it. It's low, but they're going to get it. Dangerous call from the Sunbreakers, but it does work out, and Poncho! Oh! Just left of Insert. Would have been an easy pick for the Giannis, but just barely off the mark. A rare
There is
misstep
no way
Giannis
Insert
Master.
was not clinched up. There is no way he was not clinched up there. Yikes. That was quite close. LuneyToons did get the tower. Something he is kind of known for in my circles.
And all you can do against a Chernobog with that ultimate, realistically. I mean, nobody expects Looney to out-rotate that ultimate when a random fight breaks out. So I like picking up that tier 1.
Yeah, it was a good call. You know, you secure the gold for your team. He gets a couple of solo wave farm. Good call from Looney there.
Another hard commit from Sunbreakers. This time they're looking for Byburthe, but the portal timing was immaculate to get the Ao Kuang out of there. Now ShadyByrd in a lot of trouble from El Frost, but Eclipse is biding their time before they step in to help out their solo laner. Sunbreakers still grouped off to the side. Dark Pillars come out. A lot of damage on the BoolCakes. Insert to follow. Bool's now the focus, and Bool's dropping low. But now with Bool getting away, Fatal Strike will find a home. Yes, there's the double execute from Eclipse. Timing is everything, and the landing in ShadyByrd going to be a double kill for Byburthe. Zombie Crusher will find Byburthe in return. Double kill for that Ao Kuang, and they shut him down at the perfect time. Looney going to get Koala in response. Eclipse had to take those steps back, have to reset things up. Zombie is a threat with them that low. But man, those executes, Z.
Yeah, we just saw what a team fight looks like, and it is Eclipse have a dangerous roster.
I love how they're defending this Gold Fury. The Oni's down to half, and Poncho and Frost are both setting up for Zombie, but they get scared away, unfortunately. I did like the setup, but Zombie a bit too healthy. Now going to run into Frost, and hits everything on Frost. Is buying some time for Insert to get there. Through the wall, the chain finds a home. Koala gets here too. Can't go through the portal when you're crippled, Frost. And that was what spelled the end for the Achilles. And Koala will get the credit, making it a 5-5 game. don't take your eyes off the skies quite yet, because the Cosmos is being used through space and time as well. A lot of trouble for the Ganesh. FN7 gonna fall to Zombie. Looney still stuck in the back line, but does find 1 kill before he dies. Double for Zombie. And that's gonna be enough for Sunbreakers to hit their own go button to head towards that Oni Fury. So they managed to fight all the way back, use the respawn timers. Realistically, they used the presence of Zombie on the Oni to go to Oni themselves. But Eclipse not done yet. They have arrived to the Oni Fury. It's deja vu all over again, as Sunbreakers this time are the ones scared away.
Yeah, you know, that whole thing started, Eclipse they pulled the gold, and they were all very low. And that's kind of a scenario. Oh,
Easy King of the Eastern Seas right there from Byburthe. Insert was just absolute deer in the headlights there. What else could you do? Byburthe gonna land on ShadyByrd and get a green buff for the trouble. And Eclipse should actually get themselves a Stygian Beacon off of this.
yeah. Just a lot of people low. And into some team comps, it's not that big of a deal. But when you've got executes on the board and global ultimates, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. It looks like Eclipse may get this one.
Shady's gonna be close. Nope, not close enough. That is an Oni Fury for Eclipse. 18 minutes, 35 seconds, 7-7. And the gold lead, remember when I said it was 300 a year ago? Yeah, it's still 300.
Yep, we're still there.
Frost looking for Zombie, diving deep forward, couldn't find it yet, gonna find it there with a fatal strike, and Zombie going to be gone. That's a Morgan Le Fay problem dealt with early in the team fight. Through the Cosmos, gonna be used to land on Frost, get the knockup, get the stun too, and Frost will get picked up by ShadyByrd. They're gonna turn their attention, look for FN7. They step up, Thor chasing 2, a bead's already used from FN7, but BoolCakes was not in range with the Anvil of Dawn. So Eclipse might have gotten lucky there. Well-timed beads from FN7 though, that did buy that extra distance to get out of range of the Thor. Sunbreakers head right to that Pyromancer.
Yeah, as dangerous of a team fight as Eclipse have, I like that Sunbreakers are still kind of hitting the gas pedal. You know, they're absolutely still fighting into them, and they're playing their gods very well. You know, the pressure that Thor Rat alone gives you is really good. You can cover large expanses of the map at any given time, and they're playing this very well. This game is just so close.
It really can't get any closer, which is frightening, because I feel like we're knocking on the doors of just that. 20 minutes in, Pyromancer is currently the main topic of discussion for both teams. Charts could not be any more even. Look at that graph. That's ridiculous. Pyromancer gets started by
the goal
Eclipse,
difference right now is
close.
less than 200, I think.
It's low. This fight might change that goal difference, Z. We'll have to find out. Fatal Strike in range. So is King of the Eastern Seas. We'll take Byburthe this time. Insert will get picked up. Insert the only one. Split push on the left side, also from Koala coming out, so Eclipse need to be quick with whatever they decide to do here. They're going to pull the Pyro. Bool still lurking on the other side of the wall. Double tap. Will it get the steal? No. Eclipse get the Pyromancer. Poncho goes through the wall, lands into a wall. Byburthe blinks forward, looking for Bool, who's going to get in the sky in plenty of time, thanks to the tanky build through the Cosmos. Also lurking, a looming threat. They're going to land on Frost. BoolCakes way off the mark there with Anvil of Dawn. Koala gets into the fight, using that ultimate to get that global pressure out. Frost off the mark and Fatal Strike couldn't find a kill on the BoolCakes. Byburthe will be close enough, but Poncho? Poncho again? Poncho can't be stopped here. ShadyByrd gonna find Frost with the edge of the acorns. That's enough again for these fights to break apart and calm down. It's always that one pick with these two teams. What we haven't seen so far is either team overcommit. I love to see that from both of them.
Yeah, both teams lost their solo there. And wait, hang on now.
They're just never done. They're never done, Z.
Hang on a minute. You know, I heard the rat. I wasn't even looking at the rat. I was looking at the graphs and the builds, and you know, I heard the rat dash, and I was like, okay, stop talking.
Not done yet.
You know, these builds are coming online.
Yeah, there's the absolution you were talking about.
Yeah. It now the addition of that item into FN7's build now is where I expect to see Eclipse start doing some wild things in these fights. That item, and I don't think it's an overstatement to say, really has the potential to neuter Ares. And you know, FN7 is on Ganesh. He's not playing in Athena. It's not like he's diving. Ares is going to have a tough time finding anything around this Ganesh.
Which is a problem for Sunbreakers, because Insert already, respect where it's due, there's been a few really good chains and some nicely burned beads, but Insert is not having the most impactful game, and if you add an additional nail into that coffin, I don't think there's any escaping for Insert anytime soon.
Yeah, it's you know, that item went kind of under the radar for a while in these comp leagues. It's excellent. I've enjoyed it. I'm playing support myself in a different league, and I have enjoyed building it. It looks like we're about to fight over this beacon.
You can definitely feel the calm before the storm. Storm hits, but not going to pull anybody in. Insert in some trouble, actually stuck in that dark pillars. And there's another execute onto Insert after Primal Fury was taken by Eclipse. They take a support too. They're going to get a Stygian Beacon. So Eclipse just really racking up the map state here. They can kind of do as they please for these next few minutes. And that gold lead that's been so calm, 2,000 for this game, that's a significant lead for the context of this game.
And you know, you saw the absolution right there. Ares blinked in, grabbed 3-4 people. Ganesh just ulted, and no one's pulled.
Save the beads of Giannis as well.
It's yeah, that item's pretty crazy. You know, it doesn't work as well on your supports that have like channeled ults. But on the ones that have these instant cast, instant pop ults, it's excellent. Zombie might be in trouble.
Yeah, we saw the same thing at the same time. The Zombie's in a lot of trouble, stuck in between that Dharmic pillars. Fire Giant looming on horizon through space and time's gonna pop! Zombie Crusher! ShadyByrd trying to find something. Koala will find that something. It's Frost. ShadyByrd just has to get away. Sunbreakers reset. They regroup around that Pyromancer. Going to be a 4v4 in the meantime. LuneyToons did have to back. He was too low to continue the fight. So Sunbreakers get themselves a Pyromancer. They look for FN7, can't find it. Titans meet in mid. 4 stand to 3 currently, and it looks like they're on the precipice of either team going in. So far, this game, all they've wanted to do is fight. Titan advantage will go to Sunbreakers. Eclipse still biding time.
I would like to call out ShadyByrd here for his restraint on that red buff. I don't know that it was a great call on his part. It was excellent restraint. He could have killed LuneyToons, and he would have almost certainly died for it.
No way.
I don't know that I would have had that kind of restraint.
Eclipse saw them go left, so they went right to Fire, and the Fire is already at a quarter, and they're going to get done here at 25. Sunbreakers get close. BoolCakes is right there through space and time, going to be used. It's going to help Eclipse get themselves a Fire Giant. There's Dark Pillars, and no escape follows. It pulls in 2, Inserts in trouble, slam down from BoolCakes in the back line to separate 2 of Eclipse from the rest of Sunbreakers. Fatal Strike's going to find a home into Insert, not before Koala finds a kill into Byburthe. Eclipse step up, looking to find picks. They're going to find BoolCakes. Fatal Strike going to be used, but a bit too late for Bool. They couldn't find Koala either. Sunbreakers regroup around that tier 2 tower, but they can't escape the unstable vortex of XtraLargePoncho. It's a double kill for the Giannis. 15-11, and Fire Giant around their belts.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I don't know if anybody else saw it. When Giannis cast the through space and time to secure the FG, Koala was moving through mid on the way to that fight, and it almost, I mean, within a foot and a half, just almost hit him in the face. He almost started that fight at half health. Sorry, I had to
mean,
bring
that's
that
what
up.
Poncho
It was-
brings. I mean, this Giannis has been banned constantly for a reason, and we're seeing why. It's certainly not everything Eclipse is bringing. I'm not trying to take a single thing away from the play of Looney, Byburthe, Frost, and especially FN7. But realistically, this Giannis is just too much for Sunbreakers to handle now that that ultimate's online. It just adds another layer to what makes Eclipse so good here.
Well, it's like I talked about when we were in the picks and bans, just what the god brings to a team. And, you know, on top of all that damage, on top of that mobility, he's so hard to kill. He has escapes at every corner. He can just pop through a wall. Beads, portal, he's gone. He's so hard to kill on top of the damage. It's just... The guy's a little crazy.
The god and the player are a little crazy. Frost playing a real crazy in that backline, in so much trouble, taking so much damage, but burning a lot for it. That's 2 ultimates used just to ensure the pick onto Frost. BoolCakes going to try to make something out of that ultimate. Anvil of Dawn lands on the Ganesh, but does not find more than a little bit of poke. Matter of fact, Koala used his ultimate as well. Sunbreakers now down 4 of their 5 ultimates.
Yeah, I do like the call from Eclipse here to kind of back off. Frost, I don't know, you know, you never know what's in team comms at the time. He may have literally just sacked himself for a T2. That may have been the call they made. I don't know. Either that or he kind of found himself a little out of position there.
Yeah, and said, I'll see what I can burn.
And burn he did.
Yeah.
There is very little left in the ult department for Sunbreakers right now.
All through space and time. Just barely off time on that Pyromancer, but it did find some poke too. Dark Pillars used. Eclipse stepping up, and they're stepping up quick. They're going to follow Poncho in. They're going to find themselves a pick onto Insert. Mid lane, Frost prepared to wreak some havoc, and a run into 3 members, but ready to take him on. Does get the 2-man stun. Fail Strike going to be used, but not going to find a home. Sunbreakers able to escape for the moment, but Eclipse still step up. They take themselves a tier 2. They want a Phoenix to go alongside of it. Through the Cosmos will be used in response. ShadyByrd goes in the back line, does not find anything but significant damage, as Byburthe will find him. Meanwhile, Frost is just hanging out with the Titan and friends, keeping Sunbreakers back. Throne Rune time for Eclipse, but they gotta find picks alongside it. They've already lost El Frost, but LuneyToons did get a pick on the Koala. Titan's at half health. Fool gonna step up. That's got some good damage onto Poncho and Byburthe, but he has to step back. He has to step back and find some safety. Eclipse do the same thing now, not interested in falling into the trap card laid by Sunbreakers. Titan stands. Sunbreakers, hold on. But
you got to get out of there.
The inevitable.
You got to get out of there. You know, FN7 still has almost no health. Your only viable route for tanking that Titan was just gone. Good call on Eclipse to get out of there, especially with this Fire Giant coming up right now. You know, the Fire Giant's going to spawn in the next 5-10 seconds. And now, instead of potentially wiping half your team, you can now go fight over this fire.
This is a taxing 31
right?
minutes. This is a taxing 31 minutes from a
telling
viewing
you, hey,
perspective.
We potentially still have 2 more games to go. Come on now.
We might have 20 more minutes in this game based off that defense. I mean, there was a lot in that defense that really impressed me. Oh, Byburthe, that's not where you want to be. That's going to be a consuming power. That's going to be a pick onto Ao Kuang. Through space and time's already used. That's been the trump card from Eclipse. That's a no escape use, but they're able to get out of it. Through the Cosmos, looking for Poncho. ShadyByrd's in really deep. He has to find a way out if he wants any chance of getting anybody. Can't find that way out, and Looney's going to get the credit for it. BoolCakes in the sky, but it's just really at this point a scouting ultimate. Sunbreaker's going to call off the fight there. It's a 1-for-1, but it could have been way more. It's been the story of every fight thus far.
I think I would like to see Sunbreakers try and pull this fire here or fight over it. The through space and time is down. The Dharmic Pillars is down. Now all of their ultimates are down too, but you got to try something.
Especially with the fire minions pushing into mid lane. You got to make. This is the point. You know, it's not a best of 5; it's a best of 3, but it's still playoffs, and you still. There's no reason to not go for calls like that. If there's any potential for success, I mean, this is the moment where you make the risky play, right? This is the time. This is that legacy moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're gonna make a kind of boneheaded call, the game one is your place. You know, if you're debating something kind of risky, do it.
Through space and time going to be used to get over to that Oni Fury in some time, but Sunbreakers are able to get it, and Poncho's instantly going to head out. Zombie is at half health, so Eclipse might look to force an issue to get up there, but they don't so far. Gotta keep their eyes open. FN7's in some trouble, but he's setting some things up too. BoolCakes takes to the sky, but no way Sunbreakers is going in. This is just a full-scale retreat from the red side of things, as Eclipse maybe working their way towards that EFG and maybe looking to force a fight, but they don't have Oni waves, and that mid Phoenix is about to respawn. This is a risky call, but Eclipse step up. They start up the EFG. It's dropping down quick. It's already at about half health. Koala and Shady are both lurking. They're close by. Eclipse has full committed. This is going to be a 50-50. It would appear ShadyByrd is just outside the ring. There's the Darkest of Nights who can get there in time. It's going to be a Eclipse EFG. Now in the sky is ShadyByrd. Just going to use that for an escape unless there's some kind of amazing pick available. It's not there. But Eclipse, they see blood. They step up. Frost looking for Koala. Couldn't find it through space and time already used. That got Poncho closer. Now Insert is a target, and Insert gets double executed. Overkill indeed for the Ares. The land down from Byburthe looking for Koala for a double kill by the Phoenix. Eclipse get themselves that Phoenix. Now they step up behind FN7. Dark Pillar's already down. Mid Phoenix gonna drop. Eclipse realizing they were going a little fast, slow down at the throne room. Now they step in, they take the 5v3. The Titan's dropping fast, there's a response from Bool. Titan's very low, it's gonna drop before Sunbreakers can defend. Eclipse will take game number 1. Credit where credit is due, Ztan. I am impressed at how Eclipse played Fire Giant right to end.
Yep. Anytime you 50-50 a fire like that, especially in a game that's that evenly matched, you know, you are risking everything. I can't count as a player, as a caster, how many games you have seen just get thrown by a risky fire call. Team gets wiped, you know, all the momentum you had just wiped off the board. They made the call, they stuck to it, they got it, they aggressed, they won. Great call from Eclipse there.
It was, but and you know, I will also give some credit to Sunbreakers for once again kind of showing more of a fight in that throne room than they maybe had a right to. I honestly think had Eclipse made if Eclipse hesitated even a little bit on focusing on the Titan, if they went for even the smidgest bit of damage on a player as opposed to the Titan, I think Sunbreakers can hold. So kind of kudos to both teams in that aspect. But before we take a quick break, before game number 2, Z, I want to ask you if there was one thing for each team that you could change going into game 2, and let's start with the team that needs a victory, the Sunbreakers, what would it be?
You know, if
Personally,
I'm changing,
I'm looking at that Ares.
yeah, that would be probably my suggestion. You know, Ares kind of got away with a lot in the earlier phases of this year. People weren't using things like Absolution. Uh, I think you move away from the Ares pick. Insert plays the pick very well. I just don't think he brings enough to the table as a god. I would look to move away from that for Eclipse. After a performance like that, the team fights, it's kind of hard for me to say that I would change anything. What you did worked. So why would you change it? I think maybe the Ao Kwong did not bring, at least in the early phase, quite the pressure that I'm used to seeing from an Ao Kwong. And even into the later phase, he maybe you look at a different jungle pick, but the Ao Kwong played well. Like I said, it's hard to say you would change something for a comp that worked.
That's kind of where I was landing too, and that's why I asked you. It felt like everything was really on point, but at the same time, not 100%. It kind of felt like every aspect that Eclipse had was at kind of 90% efficiency. And that was the openings that Sunbreakers took advantage of, and that was how Sunbreakers kept the game. But before we dive into even deeper discussion, we are going to take a tiny break before we get into game number 2 between Eclipse and Sunbreakers. Don't go anywhere. It's my draft league. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. Game number 2 between Eclipse and Sunbreakers on the horizon. Eclipse took game 1, but not in dominant fashion. It was a close game throughout. Eclipse did get a wrangle of things towards that latter half of the game, but Sunbreakers put up a fight. My name's AnthonyMalum. I'm joined by Ztan and Z. I am personally looking for 2 things. I'd like to see no more Ares, and I'd like to see a Giannis ban. That's where I'm standing.
That's yeah, that about covers it. LuneyToons did go kind of nuts with the X ball, but the problem with like trying to throw the bans in ADC, especially right now, there's just so many of them that are good. What are you gonna do?
And it kind of felt like Sunbreakers was playing dodgeball at times with all the ultimates that were being sprung at them and all the sustained damage coming out of every corner while they had an Achilles and an Ao Kwong in their face. They're having to dodge unstable through space and time. Looney's in the background just lobbing autos at a distance while you've got the Ganesh. And there was just a lot happening in those team fights. And I really think, to be honest, while just one role of that could really do a lot to alleviate some of the chaos.
Yeah, well, there were at least 3 or 4 fights. One of them in particular over on the Pyro, towards the like mid game where Zombie got cracked in the face by a Giannis ult and is now incapable of fighting, and his whole team just has to retreat because their mid's toast. Nope. What?
Interesting. So it looks like Sunbreakers believe that Ao Kwong was worth taking off the table. I mean, Insert did have a hard time and became the target of Ao Kwong and Achilles. Yes, but look at Eclipse was like, okay, our first pick is Giannis. I mean, they made it pretty simple. Don't want to give it to Zombie this way. They get it for Poncho. And I mean, we didn't even want them to run the Ao Kwong back. So from our standpoint, this is kind of a W for Eclipse.
Yeah. Oh.
That's a big pickup right there. Could go to Zombie, could go to ShadyByrd for Sunbreakers. We have seen Pele. Again, this is on the previous patch, but
it could go to Bool too.
Yeah, it could go to Koala. It could go anywhere.
You know, in fact, in a tournament recently that I played in, it could go to Koala. I've seen it played in carry.
So there infinite options. I do like them taking this Ganesh away and
Death
giving it
comes
to
by
Insert.
night.
I think that's a nice pickup for Insert, maybe a little more comfortable than that Ares and able to do more should that Ares not work out the way Ares needs to work out.
Well, now I can tell you, as Insert is like a personal
Tremble
friend of
beneath the
mine,
waves.
it is not more comfortable. Insert loves that Ares.
Interesting.
However, I do think for the team that this Ganesh is a much better pickup. Not to mention, you know, you already
It
kind of
runs
hit on it.
better.
You take it out of the hands of FN7. Oh, good lord.
So it's going to be a Thoth lock-in in response to a Yamoja from Eclipse FN7, somebody we've seen on Yamoja a ton and play it very, very well. There's the Hercules ban, target for El Frost, but take us through that Thoth lock-in because clearly that hit struck a nerve with you.
This Sunbreakers comp has struck a nerve with me.
They're brawlers.
So you remember in the game one picks and bans when I was like just pressure after pressure for Eclipse.
That's correct. You said
Uh,
clear pressure.
Sunbreakers. So I'm gonna say this again. Pressure.
Now is the
Oh
time.
man.
Wow. That is quite the I was gawking at the team fight composition from Eclipse in that previous game, but that's how I'm feeling about Sunbreakers. I mean, now with that Nike setting things up alongside the Ganesh, the fact that Pele can probably hold Volcanic Lightning until absolutely necessary is absurd.
Listen to my words.
So this Sunbreakers team comp, we'll go through this real quick. You know, Pele alone. Giannis
You are
Poncho is
finished.
going to have to be on his toes. Pele can and will kill him with one rotation of abilities. The Dharmic Pillars, the Toth Bombardment, which we haven't even touched on. If Zombie, who now I know to be a very mechanically capable player,
Farewell.
Toth in the right hands is and almost always will be one of the best mages in the game in terms of just outright burst range damage output. This team fight from Sunbreakers is crazy.
And what Ishtar brings too, such a good way of rounding out the Sunbreakers comp. Eclipse are running back a very same feeling composition with the biggest difference being in jungle, but we'll see how it all works out. It's time. We'll see you in game number 2. All right. Hope you're ready. Gonna be another war. Eclipse, Order side, Sunbreakers, Chaos side. Oh boy, I'm AnthonyMalum. I'm joined by Ztan, and I think we are both ready for one crazy game because Eclipse were the masters of team fighting last game with a very similar comp, but Sunbreakers has rolled out one of my favorite crafted comps that you can put together.
Yeah, you know, everything about this comp just screams team fight. You know, even down to the Nike, and I really like the Nike pickup here.
Me too.
Because as opposed to Nike forces a relic. Nike forces that either the solo or the support, you will either buy Sunder or she will not die. I really love the Nike pickup, and it's going to give her pressure into the Achilles as far as lane clear, which he didn't really have. Oh, close.
Frost actually got some of that pressure back in that first laning phase and almost found a first blood on the BoolCakes. They were able to get away to that tower. Just one other thing I'd like to point out is relic-wise. We have a jungler going Blink this time. Last time we did not have that, understandably so, but Byburthe is somebody you have to keep your eyes on. Blink, Fear No Evil is something that has to be respected the second Boombots hits level 5.
Well, I've got to say here, just, me personally...
Why are you jumping in there? That scared me. Bool is a courageous player. I do not have the heart for that.
Well, speaking of courageous players, going Blink on Hunbats into a Ganesh, Pele, and Toph
Yep.
is it's towing a line. It's towing a line of bravery. He's a better man than me.
If it works, we're going to be praising the genius. But if it doesn't work, it's a really easy thing to point to and say, hey, do you regret not going Purification Beads for your first relic? And Byburthe will, obviously say, of course, it's calculated.
Oh man, yeah. No, I'm gonna be very interested to see these comps fight. Pele is just so strong right now. Borderlining absurdity, just so strong.
Frost caught it. BoolCakes was trying to take that blue buff under the tower, but Frost got it, but BoolCakes was able to get the secure. Now Frost alone between 3, but here's a rotation from Poncho to make sure that Solo can get away. Gonna find a stun on ShadyByrd. Eclipse could turn it, but they're a little afraid to go in. Byburthe again without that beads. Very susceptible to a lot of CC. We saw it there with the stun. Eclipse will get away, but they did not get that blue buff from Bool, which is nice for the Nike.
I think Eclipse missed a bit of an opportunity there. I don't know if they noticed, but Zombie had no mana. The Toth, I think Toth could have went down for the first blood there. His mana bar was gone, which, of course, being a player, what have you, I can look at this from the bird's eye view and see everyone's mana bar. Of course, you may not see that when you're in the game looking at it, but if anybody had spotted that and pointed it out,
LuneyToons is in a lot of trouble here, but does get away. FN7 will beat the sacrificial lamb. Just a matter of who. It's going to be ShadyByrd with the first blood for Sunbreakers. Hey, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, you don't like to see the if you're Eclipse here,
I like the sidestep. Oh, was that just sassy? I mean,
I kind of feel like that was kind of just an FU for trying to ult me. Yeah, I can't see any other reason to have thrown it. You know what I mean? Like,
I gotta say. And you're a player, and you've been a player for competitive amateur circuits for a long time. And I've cast so many games in this last year or so. I get the feeling that this is going to be one of those games that come late, I am going to be dying of thirst. I'm going to look like SpongeBob and Patrick when they're put under the light in the movie.
Oh, no. I have an embarrassing confession to make here. I never watched SpongeBob.
All right, Grandpa.
Your reference is lost on me.
Well, everybody else who's cool, young, and hip will get it and enjoy that reference. So I'll let you wallow in your own self-pity.
Inconceivable. I honestly, so I'm gonna make a prediction here. Maybe I look like an idiot later, but I think that Sunbreakers are going to have a field day post 18 minutes. The more I look at these comps, the more I'm looking at it, I think Eclipse are going to struggle wildly to try and fight into the Sunbreakers.
I think it's going to all revolve around the Hoonbots and where the value comes. If there's no value out of this Hoonbots and it's a 4v5, this isn't a 4v5 Eclipse can contest. I mean, they lose it 11 out of 10 times.
Oh, that was a beautiful ult.
Wow, that was great, but can they follow up? Fear No Evil looks like they might be able to. Poncho on the way as well. Insert in so much trouble, but he's getting away so far. Will they find it? Yes, Looney will get the credit. 4 people it took just to bring Insert down, but that does even up the scoreboard.
That you know, you mentioned Grandpa. I was starting to have the beginnings of a coronary there.
Yeah, I heard that. I felt like I needed
boy.
to turn on Staying Alive and start the compressions.
Whew. Yeah, Insert almost squeaked out of that, and I would have been upset for Eclipse. You know what I mean? Like, you drop all of that, and the guy, oh no.
Oh, the jump! Bull might be able to get away from this. It's going to be really close.
Ooh.
That shield just goes a little too far. BoolCakes screaming at the designers in the grayscale as Frost will celebrate the solo.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's going to be a back. Volcanic Lightning for the chase. Stun off of the chase, but the autos might be, will be too much for Frost to handle. ShadyByrd with their second kill.
Yep. Yep, we love Pele. Gee, that was a really good 2 from Pele there. I mean, I think with the 1 she probably kills him anyway, but that 2 was timed spectacularly. Achilles tried to dash away, and she caught him right in it. Just that god does a lot of damage.
Pele is a character who, and you know, in every league, SPL down has had an interesting year 10, but in SDL in particular, the lore goes crazy. Left side of the map, Koala. Oh my god. Forget Koala. Byburthe is gone. Obliterated. Oh, Byburthe died so quick. The rest of Eclipse lost interest in watching that side of the map.
Yeah, do you remember in Batman the Dark Knight when, you know, Joker says I'm going to do a magic trick and he puts the pencil on the table, I'm going to make it disappear.
That was Byburthe, 100%.
Yeah, no, I feel like somebody on Sunbreakers was like, yo, watch this.
Gold Fury being started up. Rivers Rebuke from FN7 is full committing for the contest. He does find a kill off of it too! Doesn't get the steal, but gets the pick, and is buying a lot of time, and reinforcements have arrived in the form of Poncho and LuneyToons. Koala will be the easiest target, but they gotta still find it. There's the jolt, but the jolt into the Fear No Evil. Byburthe will clean up Koala. There's some revenge. I could feel that one.
I feel like that was a bit on the side of unnecessary,
yeah, I could feel that
fair
one.
enough.
You would have done the same thing.
I'm 90% sure the 2 kills him just fine.
You would have done the same thing.
That's not what we're discussing here, Anthony.
You would have done the same thing, and then you would have hit VET as fast as those old fingers could have gone.
Oh no, you haven't seen me play jungle, sir. I would have missed the damn Fear No Evil.
But anyway, what I was saying before that fight is Pele's had such an interesting season in SDL. Multiple times now, we've seen Pele's get pentakills, get 15-kill games, and lose. And I feel like Pele, 30 kills in Godlike, and I feel like Pele is one of the only characters in Smite who can hard carry, but can't hard carry enough at times. Just the way that you have to trust the Pyro class, the Eruption, the 1-2 punch, just sometimes doesn't work out enough for a team.
Well, you know, Pele, it really depends on how the team plays around Pele. Pele is a jungle. Typically, the interaction that you see between teams is that your jungle and your solo are going to dive together. Speaking of which,
yeah. There's a Sentinel of Zeus. That should help BoolCakes out, but Fatal strikes up. Oh, ShadyByrd took a detour, and that detour spelled the end of Poncho. Now a dive under the tower. Fatal Strike looking for BoolCakes. Fear No Evil just to make sure Frost could find a home on that Fatal Strike.
Whoa!
Rotations coming out from Sunbreakers. They want to hard commit to this 2v2 to buy some extra time for their mid to join the jungle and support. Byburthe at danger of a Ganesh kill, but won't drop. Frost in way more danger. Shady chasing it down. FN7 here to try to help things out and play some defense. Rivers Rebuke is absolutely perfect FN7, a mastermind of his craft, will get his solo out of there.
Who gave this man Yamoja? What? What is this? I played 2 seasons with this man. I did not see a Yamoja like this. What is going on here? I feel cheated. Absolutely just criminal. I want to draw attention to something real quick. Just a Smite nerd moment here. When Bats and Achilles dived that tower, I saw an interaction that I didn't know could happen. Now this may have been a bug, I don't know, but that tower shot changed targets. Oh,
LuneyToons, you know, Sunbreakers changed targets. They picked Looney. Looney's gone now. In case
yeah.
somebody was curious on the update. Stygian Beacon being started up by Sunbreakers. They do push Eclipse off of it, so we'll be able to go back after the Stygian Beacon to the point about the tower shot. Frost lurking, but not going to go crazy, not going to take any risks. Same with FN7. Sunbreakers will get themselves a Stygian Beacon. 4 strong in mid. They'll begin to separate.
yeah.
Insert? Hello?
Oh.
All
All right. We take those.
right. Yeah. You know what? Just we'll do insert a solid. You said you guys are friends. I'll let you talk about something else. We won't talk about that.
Yeah. We'll pretend we didn't see that. Yeah. Sorry, my brain is just stuck on this. I watched a tower shot go to Achilles, and mid-flight changed target to Hunbats. I didn't know that could happen.
I mean, hey, we play Smite for the moments we can't explain. That's one of the pieces of charm of this game. As Eclipse pick themselves up an Oni Fury, and Koala runs for the hills as everybody steps over to that duo lane. My God.
Koala just said, "I am in danger." Well,
Shady could try to make a play happen here. Volcanic Lightning is going to get juked and jumped by Byburthe, but FN7 was still a good target. Fear No Evil was used to get ShadyByrd out of there. Elfrost had to use a Fatal Strike to get away, and that might not work out. He had to walk through that Durant Pillars, took a lot of damage. There's the portal. ShadyByrd's waiting for Elfrost on the other side of things, and we'll find one. Zombie's going to clean up LuneyToons to make it 2 for Sunbreakers. River's Rebuke wasn't enough that time to get everybody out of there. FN7 now getting chased out by Zombie. Does he have the range? Oh my God, he does have the range! Double kill for Zombie. He stops, he spins, Xbox clip that moment. Sunbreakers make it 8-6.
FN7, you kind of did a recon Stark there, man. Like zigzag. Great Toth ult from Zombie there. Hit it just at the almost max point of that range. That was spectacular.
It's hard to even reset, but I mean, we're coming up in 15 minutes. Like I mentioned, currently 6-8, the 6 favoring Eclipse, the 8 with the defending champion, Sunbreakers. But they do have a fairly strong gold lead that they've been holding on to through these back and forth fights, which is really important because that was something that they were struggling with last game.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like
you thought about it.
All right, Looney, you may be my boy, but if you continue running at a dude 2 levels over you,
I was gonna say Looney's about to break you in this cast.
Yeah, we're gonna have words in our next Smite session.
Your eulogy becomes my first solo cast. I'll speak of you fondly.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Looney's still taking the fight, but not getting the better of it. There's the Blades of Retribution, and they're going to catch the dash from Looney. There's the beads. Darkest of Nights trying to buy time for Byburthe to get over there. Koala's got to either run or take the fight now, but kind of standing in between the two decisions. There's the blank. Fear No Evil. Can Koala get out of this? Byburthe going to go in. Can Koala trade out? The tower shot? He can! Oh my God!
No, it
was... Individual plays have been so good in this game.
it was almost perfect. It was almost perfect. Just
Oh, Giannis is just waiting for this. Giannis is just sitting and waiting to help contest this Pyromancer. There's River's Rebuke out from FN7. Elfrost going to find Insert. There's the through space and time. A bit early as Pyro have been let go. Volcanic Lightning is going to clean up FN7. There's the jump knock up onto the Giannis, who no longer has that same escape. And there's the damage, but does get the portal off just in time to get away. Eruption could not find it on this day. Zombie taking on Elfrost on the right-hand side of the map and should be able to find it. There's the Judgment, and he's going to hit it. 0 range finds the Rampage. Pyromancer started up again by Sunbreakers.
So, Eclipse are in the beginning stages of uh-oh territory.
And they weren't even like 2 minutes ago.
Well, looking at the stat lines. 5-0 on a Pele, 5-0 on a Toth. Two gods you just don't want to see stat lines like that on. You got a 5,000 XP differential in favor of Sunbreakers. You've got 5,000 gold, which you're not talking full item. Okay.
Byburthe getting very aggressive on the Fear No Evil there, but instantly has to step away. Blades of Retribution gets a stun on the LuneyToons, who goes aggressive for ShadyByrd, but can't quite find it. Poncho goes through the portal, also can't find ShadyByrd. There's 2 members of Sunbreakers left behind, and they're the ones in trouble. Elfrost gonna find a kill and Insert. Zombie will clean up FN7, who was hanging out way too low, way too long. Koala's gonna get Byburthe, but now is stuck alone, and LuneyToons will clean up the Ishtar. Looney has to get away from Bool, though, who's gonna chase down. There's the jump! Doesn't find the knock-up on Poncho, doesn't find the damage onto Looney. Elfrost left behind now himself, but Bool didn't know about it, and that works out perfectly for the Achilles, who's able to get away. A dangerous fight for both teams at the Stygian Beacon ends up just being a 2-for-2.
Yeah. Man.
There's a lot to keep up with this game.
Yeah, that was quite a fight. Toth is putting in work here. Just absolutely putting in work. Like I was saying on the desk. Yeah.
It did hit, but not enough damage to pick up BoolCakes.
Yeah, oh boy. If that had hit anyone other than like the solo or the support at that kind of health, that would have been a definitive kill. Toth is doing a massive amount of damage here. We're 19 minutes in. He's just over 17k. So, you're talking almost 1,000 damage a minute so far. He's really putting in that bombardment. It does look like we have a pause though, and we'll throw it over to a break. Man.
Yeah, I have the same mindset. Don't worry. I'm in the same place, because what's been crazy for me is the back and forth of what the individual plays versus the team plays this game have been significant, as we're already back in 19 minutes 30 seconds, 10-13. Sunbreakers trying to force a game 3. The back and forth has been just ridiculous. And like you said, the Thoth this game, previous game, we were looking at Giannis, we were looking at Frost. Frost still playing well. Just this, there. Sometimes in Smite, you get these sets where the peak of individual performance meets teams that genuinely play well together and have chemistry, and you get sets like this, and that's where we're at now. Poncho, gotta get out of there. Taking a lot of damage, but Zombie's gonna run into Byburthe, who will buy enough time for Giannis to get away. And matter of fact, ShadyByrd's gonna clean up Byburthe before they could even find Zombie, but Zombie ran into LuneyToons, who wants that shutdown gold, baby. And Shibalanke is gonna get it.
They got it.
Now dealing with Insert, who's buying a lot of time for Shady to get there, but Volcanic Lightning available. Damage really good. Looney gone. Unstoppable for ShadyByrd. FN7 for your trouble as well. Double kill for the Pele. Sunbreakers grow the lead even further.
All right, so I'm just gonna say something right now. Whether this goes to a game 3, whether it doesn't. If I am Eclipse, I never want to see another Pele in a match. Ever again.
I agree with that.
This Pele being piloted by Shady is as much praise as we have put on the Toth. You know, the Pele's sitting lower in the damage charts, but it's not necessarily about the numbers that you're doing as when you're doing them.
Speaking of when you're doing them, through space and time was early. Poncho going to get out before it gets caught in dark pillars. Volcanic lightning for the chase. Do you want to ban it? Oh, the portal has betrayed Poncho. A season on one character and you get betrayed like that? Not what you want. That's going to be a death for the Giannis. Sunbreakers regrouping, looking to take the fight on their own terms. Eclipse stuck between the two groups. They could get pinched here really badly. Frost the deepest in. Blades of Retribution do stun out too. El Frost in a lot of trouble. Fear No Evil trying to stop the rest of Sunbreakers from getting through, but it's not going to work perfectly. Frost still in trouble. Looney did find a pick on the ShadyByrd. Pele less of a problem. LuneyToons still dashing in between, but Zombies there to clean things up. And the Sunbreakers take 2, lose 1. Maps back in their control.
All right, so Looney has now killed the Pele and the Toth. He got the shutdown gold for both. Surely he's full build.
Surely.
That had to have been quite a sum of gold. Great fight from them there. Sunbreakers played that very well. This Nike, not sitting very high in the damage charts, but I'll be interested to see them mitigated.
I'll be interested to see how this River's Rebuke works out. It set up things great, but matter of fact, Sunbreakers disagree. They are able to turn it around, and they find FN7. They force a retreat from Byburthe, but Poncho, feeling spicy, wants to pick off someone on Sunbreakers. They're all low. BoolCakes in execute range, but does get the jump off. Poncho was waiting, but we saw it before. Poncho's damage on BoolCakes is not quite at that Giannis can kill anybody range that you might see at 30 minutes into a game. So BoolCakes survives for now. Eclipse will probably get themselves Noni Fury, but they've got to be careful because lurking, not just a ShadyByrd, but a bird. It's the Toth, and it's Zombie. They're close by. Noni Fury's down to a corner. Zombie buying time. Judgment charging up. It's going to be a close one. Sunbreakers get the steal. Could have been any more obvious. Volcanic lightning on Byburthe, not able to find a kill, but able to push Eclipse away. Sunbreakers say thank you kindly for the Oni Fury and regroup back by the green buff.
Yeah, I think I would like to see Eclipse kind of back off the gas here a little bit and move around and get some farm.
Yeah, the charts tell the exact story you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, you look no further than like that last little scuffle before the Gold Fury that we were talking about. The damage that Poncho was doing to like Nike, you know, it's just not there. Nike's 20, Toth's 20, Pele's 20, Ishtar's 20. And, you know, you're sitting here 18, 19, 15. You need farm, you need items.
This is a death for Looney.
You need to not run at the Toth!
Oh no. Volcanic lightning makes it a 1-2 punch for ShadyByrd. Eclipse, the one good thing from that is they got the tier 2. Looney, actually 2 good things. Maybe even 3. They got the tier 2. Looney got a faster way back to base. And they were able to stop the Titan before it got to the tier 2.
You know, that is the fastest way back to base that you can get your hands on.
Yeah, none faster.
You know, Looney did get 20 out of that. You know, the tower, the farm. He is 20 now.
Fire Giants being started up by Sunbreakers.
Yeah, I don't see outside of a through space and time where they... Yeah.
It's gonna be... They're gonna see it too late. Eclipse did not have a chance to get that steal. Lucky for them, 25 minutes on the clock, not EFG, but Sunbreakers might not want to wait for an EFG. That's a 4-man stun. Fear No Evil was perfect, though, to keep Sunbreakers from following that up. This could be a different game if they're able to follow up those stuns. They will get that tier 2 on the solo side for free. They can probably clean up the mid tier 2 without much of a problem, but looks like they want the Phoenix on the solo lane instead. They step into the ring. Eclipse is ready for it, but they've got to respond quick. Through space and time into the back line, does good damage to Koala, but they couldn't find a kill. River's Rebuke is perfect to keep everybody in there, and Poncho's going to find a pick in the ShadyByrd. But they need more than that. Eclipse needs to keep going if they want to get Sunbreakers out. They've got LuneyToons in deep. Looney's going to find Koala and take the 1v2 with Bool, but he's got to wait for the push to go. It's down. Looney steps up. Poncho arrives. Poncho's got his back. That's another kill for the Giannis. Sunbreakers forced out. They lose 3 on the Phoenix Siege. They do get the Phoenix, but at what cost?
Well, you know, so at the start of that Fear No Evil from Byburthe, I don't think it is an overstatement to say that he may have potentially saved the game with that Fear No Evil.
The stun was so good from Koala. If they followed up,
if
it's over.
Sunbreakers are able, because the health pools on Eclipse were not great at that point. If Sunbreakers are able to follow that with no interference, at least 2 members of Eclipse die. Possibly 3, depending on how they choose to play around it, you know. And at that point, that Phoenix Siege is a whole different story.
And it's a solo side Phoenix. They've got Pyromancer. They cleaned up tier 2 on left and middle. So they can take their time. They can probably get Primal without too much problem unless Sunbreakers rushes there. But even if they do, that wasn't an EFG. It's only on 2 members, and it's Zombie and Insert. Realistically, Zombie's the only problem with it. Eclipse have really wrangled their way. I mean, desperately wrangled their way back into a decent place.
Well, you know, and with the positioning of these ults from FN7, the burst from Giannis, the Fear No Evil, the damage coming out of Looney, you have defense capability. You absolutely have the ability to defend these. I don't know that you hard defend these T2s, but
Eclipse is doing it, though. Through space and time into the back line, not going to find anybody. Frost is in some trouble. There's a Fear No Evil. It does find a decent home, but the damage is not quite there yet. Byburthe left alone with a lot of members of Sunbreakers, and there's a jump forward. Koala's going to find Byburthe with the help of Volcanic Lightning coming out from ShadyByrd. Sunbreakers step up into the mid-Phoenix, and there's another perfect River's Rebuke to buy some time. Matter of fact, this one's going to find a kill. It's going to help find another. This one from Looney. Frost finds Insert. They're falling apart again. Once again, River's Rebuke does too much for Sunbreakers to do anything. They just have to sit and wait, and in the time that they sit and wait, they get popped.
I am gonna have words with FN7 after we get done with this cast. Mark my words. My oh my, dude is playing out of his mind on this Umoja. I don't think I've seen a River's Rebuke that sucked. Every one of them have just been spot on.
You know, we said it in game 1. We're coming up on 30 minutes in game 2. But FN7 is somebody who wants an SDL title like nobody's business. And Sunbreakers, not just the team name, which holds 3 from last season, but 3 members all have it. And they want to keep FN7 from getting there. Poncho not going to get picked. That's huge for Eclipse to continue on that arc. And FN7, just to clean up that thought, you know, he wants that title. And we're seeing, I talked about a legacy game. We're seeing an amateur legacy game from FN7 in this game to keep Eclipse a part of it and make it possible to take the 2-0, where 10 minutes ago, we did not think it was possible.
Yeah, you know, Eclipse are definitely not out of the woods here. Still have to bear in mind, like, Pele, Toth are the big ones I'm going to keep harping on. A well-placed Toth ult or a good Pele engagement could borderline into the game here.
Frost is in really deep. Needs to get out of there. No more fire waves to deal with. This EFG, I feel like this EFG either ends the game or this is one of those EFGs that depending on how the fight goes, who gets it, could reset the game. That's what this EFG means to these two teams. That's what this dance is going to mean. You have to pick the perfect time to go. And the Rivers Rebukes have been so good. Sunbreakers, at this point, they've got a Phantom Shell. It's up, it's ready. It has to be picture perfect for use time to make that Rivers Rebuke not a problem.
Yeah, they're just dancing around it at the moment, but I feel like Sunbreakers are about to move in and start to commit on this. I think they know how strong their fight is.
Pyro gets started, gets low, goes to Sunbreakers. They step back. They're regrouped as a team. No chance for Eclipse to get picks off the back of it. So Sunbreakers will have a bomb in pocket. Frost stepping up, but no opening still for Eclipse. We're still in dance territory. We still have some time to breathe before things inevitably break down.
Oh, you had to say something. Here they come. I think they're looking for picks, and I really like that because it's especially with Poncho on the board, what we all know he can do on Giannis. It would be borderlining absurd to assume that you're going to win the 50-50 when space and time is up.
And, we'd be remiss not to mention this before it's too late. Eclipse is definitely at an item differential right now. They have a lot of recipes still in pocket compared to Sunbreakers.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sunbreakers, they know that. And I think that's why we're looking at the picks here. Oh, boy.
Some poke coming out, FN7, Byburthe, and Frost, all three have taken about 25% damage. Dark Pillars comes. They're able to get out another good Fear No Evil. It's exactly the same kind that we saw before. It's a bit less stakes this time. Sunbreakers will use it, though, to step to fire, and they're going to pull it. No, they're not going to pull it. They're still kind of hanging out around it. I'm surprised.
It's really unfortunate that Fear No Evil's out because he keeps having, he keeps having to use it in a peel or defensive manner, and that ult is also arguably your best engage. So every time he's forced to use that defensively, it really hinders Eclipse's ability to fight.
What was the deterrent there for Sunbreakers not at least pulling the EFG with no signs of Eclipse and having a couple deep wards? Is it just through space and time?
To be honest with you, I see all upgraded relics, all completed builds.
So a worth it call.
I think they just backed to get their items.
Now, how will they use those items? ShadyByrd almost found a pick in the poncho, but not quite. Frost in a lot of trouble. Rivers Rebuke used early in the fight. Fear No Evil pushes them into the Rivers Rebuke and forces a Phantom Shell. So a lot has been used by Sunbreakers. Same thing for Eclipse. But in these engagements, with how things are going down, it's hard not to feel like anytime Sunbreakers draw a Rivers Rebuke out, it's a plus for them. But they got to get more.
I think Sunbreakers are being overly cautious. I really kind of feel like they're being overly cautious here. I 100% think they could have just gotten that EFG.
And at least forced the fight that they would have had an advantage in, given the ultimate situation. And the only thing that wasn't in their favor was relics. Yeah, for sure.
Now they're at a disadvantage. Their health bars are poked, and all of Eclipse is here. Eclipse?
And their ultimates are coming back online.
Look to pull it.
Through space and time being up is the big thing I want to keep looking at, because through space and time means you can't safely even fake a fire if you're Sunbreakers. Frost and Looney both really deep. Sunbreakers trying to reset through space and time is going to wreck Koala's health, but it's not quite a one-shot. That's a 3-man stun to keep Eclipse from diving through. That can't be understated, what that just paused. That was the moment we talked about with the Fear No Evil from Byburthe earlier. That was the Sunbreakers version of that moment. Yeah,
that was a beautiful stun, and it's, kind of forced another stalemate. Eclipse still doesn't have totally completed builds, and I think they're kind of nervous to engage on the objectives, but they're pushing Sunbreakers off. Okay.
That River's Rebuke is going to find two. There was a slight hole for Koala to get through, but Looney's going to chase Koala down with the help of XtraLargePoncho. Aegis used, and now Looney's caught out. ShadyByrd's going to find it. Byburthe in trouble too. ShadyByrd's going to focus on Frost, while the rest of Sunbreakers take out Byburthe. Sunbreakers are splitting, and they're doing it oh so well. There's a stun, but there's a through space in time that finds Koala, and it does it perfect. But Poncho's out of mana and almost out of time, and Zombie finds Frost. 2 left for Eclipse. They've got to just back at this point. Sunbreakers hold on through that fight, but not before Poncho does some work.
I cannot even begin to state how much damage Toth is doing in these fights.
52,000.
You know, and this is a comp game, right? Like, this isn't a ranked game where nobody's in comms and somebody's running around pub stomping. This is a comp game, and we're looking at 52,000 damage in a 37-minute game. His damage is crazy.
This is really becoming, I mean, for me, it's almost like ShadyByrd versus FN7 and Poncho versus Zombie. That's kind of how I've been looking at these last few fights, and my eyes are glued to what those 4 players are doing and how the teams are playing around those moments. Koala's had great ultimates. LuneyToons done great damage. You know, this isn't taking away from the other players, but those 4, that 2v2, feels like where this game makes or breaks for either side.
Yeah, I mean, if FN7 gets that ult position, which I'm not about to chastise him for, you know, one slight malplacement on an ult in this game, but if that ult actually manages to trap Koala in there, that's a whole different fight.
I've got my hat turned around, Z. I'm Ash Ketchum right now. I'm so invested. I mean, I got hat turned around. I'm leaning in.
The turned around. Now, see, there was a reference I understood.
I have your back.
I appreciate that. They got to be 25 years or so, all right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I was listening, but during your point about the Immortal, I was like, all right, I got to turn hat around. Things are getting serious. Frost into the back line after Pyromancer gets taken by Sunbreakers. The Frost going to back away. Not getting crazy yet. Eclipse, though, they're in a weird spot. I've seen teams kind of be stuck in the mid lane in these scenarios, and it never goes well. They got to get a better position than this.
Yeah, Eclipse are, honestly, it looks like they're trying to kill Shady, which, fair enough. Oh my.
Frost is in so deep, but Sunbreakers is committing a lot. Through space and time, doesn't find anybody. No, it doesn't, but BoolCakes is in trouble on the left-hand side. LuneyToons going to find BoolCakes, and the rest of Eclipse step up behind Frost, looking for something, looking for anything. What can they find? Frost going to find Koala. ShadyByrd does find one of the Byburthe. Double kill for the Achilles. Looney gets his own double kill into ShadyByrd, and all of a sudden, there's only one member left of the Sunbreakers, and it's Zombie. And Zombie can't take on everybody, no matter how much damage he's got. He can't take on everybody. Does he catch Looney sleeping? He does! Oh my God! Just when I said he can't take on everybody, he catches Eclipse with their thumb up it.
I was gonna say, bear in mind, those are some low health bars, and that is a Toth. Oh boy.
Buckle up, you know?
Yeah.
There's not a pause, but
we have now committed to at least another 7 minutes in this game.
Yeah, there's not a pause, but this is your last chance. Make sure your drink is full. You know, recline back or lean forward, depending. You know, clutch your jersey tight. You know, crank the AC down a little bit because you're going to be sweating. It's one of those games at this point. 40 minutes in, 24-27. If Eclipse win, Wild Inferno's waiting with open arms in the finals. If Sunbreakers lose, they're no more defending champions. But if they hold on, there's still a game 3 around the corner.
I mean, and, you know, win, lose, whoever, a hell of a game 2 it's been so far.
I know, I joked about this being your magnum opus. Frost has to get out of there. You cannot get back.
Yeah, no,
that
Frost,
portal was huge.
Frost gotta go.
Oh,
Which
Sunbreakers. Oh, they're starting EFG. Cards in the table moment. Sunbreakers pulling EFG. It's down to half health. Through space and time is up and available, but it's got to be perfect if Eclipse want a chance. Fire Giant's out of quarter. Frenzy going to be used, so Fire Giant's going to drop pretty fast. They're going to commit to through space and time. Is it going to be in time? No, it's not, but Zombie gets a triple kill! He popped him! Absolutely obliterated him! The Sunbreakers can run it through! There's just 2 left! Unreal, Zombie! Go get it! Go claim your prize! River's Rebuke, not going to matter this time. The Sunbreakers step up into the Phoenix room. 2 members stand between them and a game 3. FN7 going to get dropped by Koala. 31 kills. Is that the magic number? Sunbreakers in the throne room. Elfrost can just stand and watch. We've got a game 3, baby. Sunbreakers take it. Remember when I said magnum opus?
all right. I've been playing Smite for 10 years. I've been watching SPL for, close to that long. That might have been one of the best Toth ults I've ever seen. 71,000 damage. All right, I have
the 10,000 of it come from that ultimate because that's what it feels like.
I have one sentence. I don't have a wrap up. I don't have what can this team do. I have one sentence for Eclipse, and that is ban the Toth.
Yeah, forget the Pele. I almost accept it.
If it's a choice between Pele and that Toth, get rid of it. Get it out of there. No. Absolutely not. Zombie should never play that again.
Never, ever. My goodness. You know, Sunbreakers, there's something to that team name. Not just because I helped pick it, Z, but there's something to that team
Yeah.
name. There's some kind of lore in SDL. There's some kind of hidden canon thing that they just don't go down fighting. We saw it in Divine, where they wouldn't go down without a fight. We're seeing it here. I mean, my goodness. Unreal. Well, game 3 is around the corner. We need a break, and so do you. So take your minutes. I'm sure you spilled your drink from Zombie. Mentally, I spilled my brain everywhere. Matters everywhere. So take your minutes, take your time, reset. We'll be waiting for you with the climax of this crazy set between Sunbreakers and Eclipse. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. My goodness gracious, did we see one of the craziest ultimates I've ever seen. Casting one of the craziest Z's ever seen from playing, and that has led us to game 3 between Sunbreakers and Eclipse. The winner moves on to the Immortal finals with Wild Inferno waiting. Z, you okay?
I don't know. That hurt me. I first things first, and
Respect, man, please. Please
yeah,
respect, man.
no, just there has got to be not a chance in hell that Zombie's Toth sees the light of day in this next match. Just there's no way.
We talked about a legacy game for FN7 on that Yamoja. Zombie, I mentioned, is a champion, one with godlike Sunbreakers last season. But a little bit of controversy. More of a coach, almost more of a GM for that team. Did not see I think only saw 1 game of playtime. But that right there, that game, I mean, I understand it's Immortal, but there's some really talented competitive players. They might not be, GMs and rank, but they're well-known and good competitive players, and Zombie put on his own legacy game.
There we go. Okay. I was sitting here holding my breath. I was like, please, boys, please get rid of this. Ooh. Okay. All right. God bless. All is right with the
Wow,
world.
Giannis is still open. I mean, it wasn't as crazy last game, but when smoke clears, kind of interesting that
shall
Giannis was
not
left
pass!
open. Part
To
of
my
me
opponents,
wonders if
that is.
that's something that was kind of just overlooked. I mean, Zombie Zombie was the mid laner of focus last game. Poncho was quiet, but we have an entire season of proof that Giannis was at least worth consideration. And if I'm Sunbreakers, I am playing one hell of a game with ShadyByrd and this Pele, if for no other reason than to ensure that we don't look
I
dumb
will leave
for letting
standing
Poncho
no
get
barrier
Giannis.
to our success.
Yeah. Sunbreakers draft kind of going the same way here, which fair enough. Now without the
Say
Toth,
my name 3 times
they've
fast.
also got the
I'll
Raijin
punch
ban,
you in
and
the
we've
face.
got the Hercules going to Frost. Have not seen it myself personally yet, but I've
That's
heard
kind
some
of big.
things about it.
That's big for if you're an Eclipse fan. I think this is kind of ideal scenario. Oh no way!
Tremble beneath the waves.
All
Oh
right,
boy.
this is a problem for Sunbreakers. That game will do a lot. I'm sure that game is in Eclipse's heads. But Sunbreakers, Pele Ganesh did amazing. The Pele was insane. This is a good draft so far. But what they have let Eclipse get, I don't even know if we have time. Do we have time to show this set?
We may not.
We have a marathon tonight.
I could potentially die of old age. This draft is, we've seen what FN7 does on the Umoja. We've seen what Poncho does on the Giannis. I've heard what Frost does on the Hercules. And Hercules is a god that as a longtime mid laner, I have a good deal of hatred towards. Because he is so good at what he does.
4 mid bans, by the way.
After a 71k Toth game,
Surprised it wasn't 5.
it's warranted. Yeah. My man is getting the Paul treatment here. And it was warranted. Like
I would
I
love
said,
to see the
fair
Morgan.
enough.
I feel like the Morgan would fit wonderfully into this
Look
team
into
composition.
my eyes.
The amount of options, the amount of setup you have, and with how good Morgan has been. Again, this is on the previous patch, but Morgan has been a character who I feel like has been comfortably resting in A tier for a very long time.
Well, one of the things that I've enjoyed about season 10 and about the meta that's kind of built around it is that at least in like the mid and carry roles, a lot of the gods have been kind of resting in that A tier area. The first part of season 10 with the Afro nonsense was not a fan.
I should have created a world that you
But-
do not exist in.
Oh boy. Tiamat.
That checks boxes for me.
Absolutely. Good clear, good pressure, good escape, hard to kill, excellent team fight, great damage. I don't think we're gonna, see the 71k performance out of it because Toth has a singular ability to outrange pretty much everything in the game. One of the reasons that the pick is so dangerous in good hands, but out the gate, this Sunbreakers draft still looks very strong.
and we'll talk about the Eclipse draft when we get in game, because we have the markings of an incredible matchup on our hands. Sunbreakers versus Eclipse. Game 3, right around the corner. We'll see you there. Wild Inferno is waiting. My name's AnthonyMalum. I'm joined by Ztan. This is the last non-finals matchup for Smite Draft League Season 3 Immortal Division. This is our version of Finals, Ztan, and we've got a crazy matchup to bring it. We didn't get to hear much of your thoughts on Eclipse, so take us through what you expect to see out of the boys in blue.
Well, like I said during the picks and bans and on the desk, the Hercules, the Umoja, we've seen what FN7's doing with this Umoja, and doing is a bit of an understatement. He's played lights out on it. I think out of every ult that game, there was one that was slightly off the mark, and even that was by a matter of inches. We've heard what Frost does on this Hercules. I like the Camazot's pick. It gives him a little more freedom in the engagement as opposed to the Hunbats. He can get in there, he can drop his damage, and if things go badly, he can get into the bat out of hell and get out. So I do really like the pick from Byburthe here. The only pick that I question on this Eclipse draft, it's the Medusa. Maybe this is something they've worked on. I do know that it's a pick he enjoys, but versus a lot of the other hunters.
Do you think it leaves them, and this might have to wait as Byburthe lurking over to the solo lane? BoolCakes a bit deep in lane, but might be okay. Matter of fact, Frost taking some damage. BoolCakes a bit slow on the escape, does dodge the knockup, and Frost dashes into the tower, and BoolCakes will stumble into a first blood for Sunbreakers. They get 3 first bloods.
I mean, he tried to get in there. Towers do be kind of swinging at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah,
Now,
swinging a bit too hard.
What were you going to ask about the Medusa?
So, when we get to late game, do you feel like Eclipse begins to rely too heavily on what could be arguably solely the Giannis? Because Medusa is not a Shivalanke or an Ishtar. And if they put too much on Giannis, I worry that it just turns into a simple scenario for Sunbreakers of kill Giannis, win game.
Well, now looking at the build path that Looney's taking here, the Gilded Arrow going into the Devo, it looks like he's going to go a fairly standard kind of crit attack speed build. So no, I don't think it's going to come into a situation where they're going to be relying too much on the Giannis, because while Medusa's the issue I have with the Medusa is that Medusa at lower MMR tends to perform a lot better as opposed to the higher MMRs where people are practiced with the ult animation and the sound and can just kind of 180. I don't think the reliance on the ult is going to be a big deal. You can still get it off pretty well around some of these corners in the jungles, and Sunbreakers do kind of like to take these fights around the fire and around the objectives, so I'll be looking for Looney to utilize the ult more in the jungle corridors than, in the middle of the lanes. I think the pick can do fine. It's going to depend a lot on how Looney positions it.
So that will be what we need to watch for from that Medusa. It's positioning, positioning, and some more positioning. It harkens back to what you talked about in game number 1. Pressure, clear, rotation, and for the end of the game, you talked about the team movement and how they work together. All these things still apply in game 3, just to Medusa. And working with that Giannis, maybe even using the Giannis to reposition properly to make the Medusa a little more impactful. As we hit 5 minutes, currently 1-0 favoring Sunbreakers with a 400 gold, but that's still resting mostly on that first blood advantage. Byburthe runs into ShadyByrd, gets a jump away. Sunbreakers hanging out in mid, 3 strong. Eclipse gonna race to the shield buff, it looks like.
Yeah, and another thing I appreciate about this Kama pick is that he does kind of have the capability to box this Pele, which Bats was kind of lacking. There's outside of the Fear No Evil, there's just almost no way that a Hun Bats is going to box a Pele. Kamazots with the life steal, the passive, the regen on his 2. He has that ability to box with Pele. Maybe not outright win the trade, but he can box her without dying immediately. And I do think that's going to play into Byburthe's favor a lot more here.
2 members low for Sunbreakers in solo. Frost stepping up to see what he can make of it. BoolCakes will get the stun off and get stunned back. Knocked back. Not going to bring Bool in. There was no boulder available anyway, while Somersault was there for Bool, so not true danger for the Hercules. This is the calmest 6 minutes we've seen, without a doubt, in this set. Both teams still kind of recovering from the slobber knocker of the previous game. And
what a word.
Thank you. And for me, I'm looking for patience like this until that Stygian Beacon. Rivers Rebuke used in duo, Koala in some trouble. No patience needed over there, but FN7's going to yoink that last hit. So continuing what we saw from last game, another good Rivers Rebuke to bring the first kill the way of Eclipse.
The FN7 kill steal is something of a legacy. It it's there. He had to do it at least once.
Eclipse is so good at this play. They gotta just keep this up, but maybe ShadyByrd can turn it around? No. Byburthe responds perfectly. Bat out of hell. That was enough. ShadyByrd leaves post-volcanic lightning. That might stop the Gold Fury, and it will stop the Gold Fury, but that was the patient play I was talking about. Not hyper-committing, focusing on the gold, responding to the rotations coming out from Sunbreakers. You take the fight. You don't chase it too crazy. You walk away. That's kind of what Eclipse started to lack. I remember at one point in game 2, you said Eclipse needed to stop hitting the gas so hard. And so far, I mean, it's early, but they're doing just that.
Well, and I like that engagement from Eclipse there. Primarily for the fact that right now, at this exact moment in the game, Poncho has advantage over Zombie. Tiamat does not do nearly as much damage in this early game phase as the Giannis is able to right now. And, okay.
Ult for ult from the carries. There's a silence onto LuneyToons, buying time for ShadyByrd, who gets there. Volcanic Lightning was off the mark, but the basic attacks will not be. That's going to be 1 kill for the Pele. FN7 finding some trouble too. That's going to be a double kill for ShadyByrd, making it 3 for Sunbreakers. The Pele remains a problem here in game 3.
A problem, but not Toth. Which really I feel was the important measure of that draft.
Frost evades a stun from Bool, who's getting aggressive, but more importantly, wasting time as Byburthe gets here, but the screech off the mark. We'll find the bats, but that's just going to force the somersault cloud. The BoolCakes will get away. Another successful gank from Byburthe from a certain point of view.
I mean, forcing the SWK ult out is good, but with the Glad Shield already online, he's got Tiamat may be in trouble. No,
Not quite.
almost.
It was close. I think that right there is the pedestal example of what you keep talking about with Eclipse and these wise fights, and they're down in kills. They're slightly down in gold, but things like that tell me more about their mindset and their strategy for this game than anything else. Because I think Game 1 Eclipse is diving for that Tiamat.
I think a lot of people are diving for that Tiamat. I might have dove for that Tiamat.
Oh, you would have 100%.
You've casted enough of my games. I would have went in there. You're absolutely right. That restraint, it's really good for Eclipse. Giannis, Medusa, these gods are, we've got a fight breaking out.
It's a bad fight for Looney, but Reverber's Rebuke will provide some safety, but maybe not enough, because Zombie came around the corner with the Children of Creation. There's a jump forward. Looney's still barely alive, but Zombie remains persistent and finds the pick. Bat Out of Hell was also used. Byburthe just used it to reposition. ShadyByrd lurking. Frost pushing up. BoolCakes done around. Hercules trying to make the difference in this fight. Portal's out, but maybe not intentionally. There's the boulder in response to really trying to find Shady, who was already gone. So hard not to think that portal actually hurt the team fight of Eclipse there and allowed Sunbreakers what we're seeing. The ability to get away. They get to that tier 1. They get Pele back, and they find safety where I kind of thought that fight was about to blow up in their face.
Yeah. Honestly, my biggest takeaway from that fight was wondering how that boulder did not hit Ganesh.
Asking the real questions. Zombie chasing down Frost, gets a knockup, diving deep forward, doing the opposite of what we talked about before. Will he find it? Yes, he will. But Poncho will get the return. The opposite of the Eclipse patience. Is that maybe some kind of foreshadowing, or is that a sign of what Eclipse needs to start doing? Poncho goes through the portal in front of ShadyByrd, and the Pyroclast will come back and drop Poncho. That's the 3rd kill for the Pele. This one will help find the Sunbreakers a Stygian beacon.
Yeah, the Pele is starting to get kind of big. Already got the Jotuns online, the Soul Eater. The 3-0 start for the Pele is definitely not what you want to see when you're Eclipse. Shady is playing this Pele very well. It could turn into a problem. Not that I wouldn't already call it a problem, but it could turn into a considerably larger problem if they don't find a way to shut it down.
I also would keep my eyes on the Sun Wukong, because Elfrost on that rotation lost about 2.5 levels to BoolCakes, which might not matter right this very second, but once we start seeing these solo laners rotate out, if Frost hasn't made up that difference, and Frost has to stay behind and catch, let's say BoolCakes is over in mid at level 18, 19, and Frost is still at 16, hidden 17, trying to farm up, that's a significant shift in balance favoring the Sunbreakers.
It is, and honestly, were it just about any other solo laner, I would consider it a problem, but with it being Hercules, what Hercules does is displacement and a difficulty to kill. Outside of the early game, his damage is not typically that crazy.
This might be a go button.
Maybe.
They're going to go aggressive for Byburthe. ShadyByrd caught them sleeping on the Pyro, and both got low, both Byburthe and Poncho, but Shady wasn't able to find it. Now LuneyToons takes a 1v2 on the left side of the map. Already used that Petrify, dancing around inside of the Dark Pillars, but can't do anything with it. KoalaMang's going to find it. back to right side of the map. River's Rebuke just slammed in. Byburthe low, trying to get back over to help out. But do they even need the help, or is ShadyByrd already dead? Fire Giant with the tag team assist drops ShadyByrd. Byburthe safe under that tier 2. But now Eclipse looking to collapse. There's the blink from the Kamazats. Zombie turns around, gets stunned out, gets dropped down 6 feet deep by XtraLargePoncho. Eclipse find 4 kills total.
Now, see, this is kind of what I was talking about. Whether that Hercules is level 13, 15, he's doing the same thing there. You know, the pluck, the driving strike, it's simple displacement and CC, and as long as he's remaining hard to kill, even if SWK is getting some more XP while he's making these rotations, I think the benefit to his team is kind of outweighing that.
15 minutes, 30 seconds, about to hit the clock. 4-7. Gold lead favoring the Sunbreakers, but nothing significant quite yet. The experience is much more a talking point, but like Ztan said, not the biggest deal in that solo lane. When you look at the rest of the matchups, it's not nearly as bad. The biggest being the jungle, 2-level lead currently for ShadyByrd over Byburthe. We'll see how much that helps out as Frost runs into some trouble at the opposing blue buff. Volcanic Lightning used. Looks like Frost may be accepting it, but gets a nice 2-man stun. But it's not enough to buy enough time to find Shady through space and time. Going to be wide right. ShadyByrd safe for the time being. A nice effort from Frost. Definitely buying time for that through space and time. But, you know, you don't want to get caught out. But I've seen worse scenarios play out for a solo laner.
Yeah, and I mean, you're 15 minutes into the game. The respawn timers aren't wild. Only major objective up on the map is fire. Sunbreakers aren't in a position to pull that. So, yeah, Frost goes down there, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. The biggest thing out of that is you're losing your T1 tower and, you know, maybe a blue. But he should be able to bounce back from that pretty well. The Pele has now gotten a fairly significant lead, however, and that is a talking point because that is a problem.
Especially with the 3 kills already in pocket, a lot of items online. Keep your eyes on the Pele and the fight that seems to be just lurking. Koala did take some poke trying to make that happen. Looney gonna run into 2 members and gonna be a target of ShadyByrd, but Shady was focusing on the retreat through space and time use, not gonna find a home quite yet. But it will help in finding Koala. XtraLargePoncho is gonna get 1 to start the fight off. Some trouble for Insert, trying to outpace, outmaneuver Eclipse, and it will work. He'll get around the wall. BoolCakes gets a stun across onto LuneyToons. Poncho back through the wall. BoolCakes plenty tanky, level 17 Sun Wukong. Here comes ShadyByrd, trying to turn things back in favor of Sunbreakers. They group up once again. They head towards the Stygian Beacon to meet Eclipse, who are kind of just standing watching. No real opening for either side. I don't think they're going to find it yet either. Sunbreakers just is kind of toying with their food at this point.
This could be dangerous here.
Frost gets a stun back on the BoolCakes, brings him in. Zombie lurking over the wall has taken a lot of damage. Same thing with ShadyByrd, and LuneyToons keeps them away. There's Volcanic Lightning from ShadyByrd to chase LuneyToons out. Damage is really good thanks to the minions for ShadyByrd. Pyroclast! Gonna be close, but no. Cigar, Looney survives it. Beacon goes to Eclipse. The retreat begins. It worked out. It was a dangerous fight. There was a lot of turns there. I don't think Bool's in too much danger at the moment. And Eclipse did get the beacon, and they get the better of the fight. Sunbreakers, though, and you've talked so much about positioning, Z. I really liked the way they kept repositioning, and they kept Eclipse sort of always looking on how do we get in? How do we fight?
Yeah, they're doing a great job of it so far. Giannis!
Through space and time, not going to find a home on to Insert, who's already started tracing back. Health bars are not great right now for Sunbreakers, so Eclipse might be able to take this Oni that was started lightly by Sunbreakers. They're on it now. Zombie getting close. Zombie's healthy. So is Koala. ShadyByrd is really healthy, but Shady is over by Pyromancer. Eclipse let go of the Oni Fury. They're going to look for picks instead. Not going to find any quite yet. Sunbreakers split the difference. They back up. Eclipse back to the Oni Fury again. And now Sunbreakers are walking back that way. At some point, someone has to hard commit to something. Eclipse going to hard commit on the Oni Fury. They will get it. While Sunbreakers head towards that Pyro.
I think Sunbreakers could, yeah, just kind of pull the Pyro in response. You know, Frost, oh man.
Little
Levels
early
down
on the
or
boulder,
not,
but it was
Frost is a problem. You know, even levels down, you're watching him just run at Zombie.
Yeah.
Really
keeping the Tiamat down so far. Zombies had a quiet game. I mean, it's unfair to compare it to previous, but even compared to game 1.
Yeah. I'm liking this Hercules pick so far.
20 minutes across the clock, 5 to 8, 3,000 gold favoring the Sunbreakers. Frost, just like Ztan had talked about, has made that level difference meaningless and has used the kit of Hercules to stay important. Bool is really deep on this solo side, and Byburthe and FN7 both rotate over. Bool will use the bull form, get caught. Actually, gets stuck out, now gets brought back by Riptide. That's going to force the ultimate through space and time on the way. Almost predicted perfect. Also going to force the blink out from the Sun Wukong. Now Poncho over here as well. Sunbreakers kind of chaotic right now. They don't know if they want to fully rotate to help or not, so they're going to back up. Eclipse, however, opposite mind of that. Very coordinated. That team movement you were looking for, Z, Eclipse is doing it to the T.
Yeah, and Giannis has secured himself a hefty lead as of right now. He is 3 levels up on this Tiamat, and whereas like with the Hercules Sun Wukong, not such a big deal, that is a big deal for your mid lane.
Eclipse step outside the tier 1 tower. Sunbreaker step underneath, ready to defend. Sun Wukong is in the solo lane, proxying currently, so no solo laner for this fight. Eclipse not going to force the issue, not going to make that a problem. With Giannis and company heading towards solo, Sun Wukong's going to be forced to back after proxying 2 waves. So they'll have to answer the wave in solo, but not a significant change. That did hit level 20 for the solo laner and Sunbreakers. But that means it's time for the Sun Wukong to be in every fight from here on out, in my mind. ShadyByrd going to run into LuneyToons and FN7, but going to get absolutely popped by that Medusa. That was impressive play there from Looney. And a quick response from FN7 to help out.
Yeah, that's a big character to have off the map right now, and I feel like Eclipse should probably move towards this fire. Zombie is levels down on this Tiamat. Shady's done. There they go.
They're on fire already. It's going down slow. There is a ward close by, so Sunbreakers are aware. BoolCakes also close. Zombie heading over. Same thing with Insert. Fire Giants at half health. Going to be a 50-50 attempt from Eclipse. Dark Pillars come out early. Fire Giants down to 3,500. Poncho's going to get out of there already. Eclipse has to get off the Fire Giant, and they left it pretty low. This is a disaster so far, but Sunbreaker's got to clean things up for it to matter. Fire Giant has been still aggroed this whole time from Frost, so it's an easy steal, but no! Frost denies it in the face of Sunbreakers, who had rotated in. Frost with the game-changing play as Eclipse lose 2 members, but could have gone so much worse. Through space and time, not going to find a home either. Sunbreakers fail to get the Fire Giant that was all but hand-delivered.
That was wild.
I honestly don't know how Frost pulled that off.
Stealing a Fire Giant in the face of, 4 or 5 people is a difficult task at best.
Especially when your own team are the ones who got it low and left it hanging.
Stealing a Fire Giant as Hercules with... that's twacked. That is just twacked. It's not quite like the PBM Sylvanas auto steal years ago, but that's up there.
And we talked about The comfort picks. We talked about the Herc and the Giannis, and we said, will Sunbreakers come to regret allowing so much comfort into the game? And I mean, they've got the lead in kills, they got the lead in gold, but they're lacking a fire, and it feels like they're lacking coordination in a lot of these fights. And Eclipse, they've got inherent coordination because they're all so comfortable. They've all played these characters so much. I'm not saying Sunbreakers doesn't, but with the sample size of an SDL season, Eclipse is just in big. They probably would have picked this composition had you allowed them to pick any 5 characters. At least close to it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. They are
Maybe a
all...
Charybdis instead. Would be the only change for our friend Looney.
Had to mention the Looney Charybdis. That's fair.
You know, honestly, and I understand this was a previous patch, Charybdis hasn't been bad. I almost would have really liked to see it. I know it's a bit late to talk about character selections in Game 3, but, you know, I kind of had to get it off my chest.
You know, like, the thing is about it, and that's something I kind of touched on earlier, with how the meta has shaped up and how many gods are kind of sitting in the, you know, A tier range for like mid and carry. Most of them are playable, and not only playable but viable. There really aren't that many carries or mids right now that are just what does the kids call it, dog water. You know, like
Eclipse, you know, on the topic of dog water, I gotta give some props to the dog and Eclipse. They got fire, they got it in a weird way, they cleaned things up, they clear out the solo lane towers. Now they're picking fights in mid. With Sunbreaker step up, River's Rebuke gonna be used, BoolCakes in the sky, ShadyByrd lurking, does not have as easy of an intro into the backline as we're used to. Decoy will fall, and Sunbreakers will save themselves a tower in mid, but I just had to point out how much I liked Eclipse cleaning those towers up, even with a fire giant that could have easily become a sort of a meaningless fire. A sort of, oh, it's on a couple people, we kind of got it on accident. Let's just use it to clear some stuff. I love that they actually have made progress off of it.
Yeah. Well, and I'm very proud of Sunbreakers at the end of that last engagement there for not falling into the trap. They had the opportunity to re-engage, and you know, as you saw, within a couple of seconds between the FG region, Yamoja heals, Eclipse was damn near full health and completely ready to fight again. So good restraint on Sunbreakers there from not re-engaging what could have been a just disastrous fight.
27:40 on the clock currently. 6-10. Action's been calm for a while. Insert gonna have this pack stopped. He's gonna dash forward. Frost should be alright. This is buying a lot of time for the rest of Eclipse to step up. Not gonna turn into a full team fight quite yet. We've seen a few of those happen before. So it's good that neither team really took the bait of the other. Gold is still calm. Close as close can get. You don't know the stakes? I'll give them to you quickly and make it simple. The winner of this game goes to the finals. A serious share of the gem prize on the line and a bit of cash to go alongside it. Wild Inferno is already waiting there. Just a matter of who can clean things up. And we're in very close straits. The biggest difference right now, that solo lane. No tier 2s remaining, just a Phoenix. About a minute away from EFG, Eclipse and Sunbreakers begin the dance.
Yeah, and I think they may try and just play around this long enough for it to be EFG. Frost is... oh, that regen.
Sunbreakers looked like they were considering going in until the regen started. And then a second it started, you could kind of see almost the brakes be hit from Sunbreakers.
Well, like, I mean...
oh, whoa. Never mind, we're cool.
Do you know how disheartening it is to do 2/3 of somebody's health bar?
Through space and time, gonna find the steal on Pyro. And all of a sudden, Sunbreakers are finding themselves in big trouble. Byburthe's going to pick up Insert, but health bar advantage is slowly and quickly, more quickly, slipping to Sunbreakers' advantage. Frost will find one. Bool will get a double. Zombie's going to clean house, and now Frost, all of a sudden, what the hell happened, my friend? Eclipse are about to be decided. Sunbreakers. Unreal. They lose Pyro. They force a deicide. This Fire Giant is theirs. I mean, they could even wait if they really felt so inclined, but they will not wait too long for Koala.
Oh, I think
Fire
it'll
Giant.
be EFG before they finish it.
You're right. This is taking them a while. So EFG will be around the belts of the Sunbreakers.
Well, they're
And
doing it without an ADC.
It couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, you know, you ask what the hell happened. Pele happened.
I mean, that was insane. It was so hard to even kind of follow that. You know, that's pretty rare for fights like that to be so hard to keep track of, but the Pele was left alone for so long. The action on the left-hand side felt
They're gonna
weird.
wait for Koala to get up.
Oh my god. I respect that. Bool?
Beautiful. Just beautiful from Sunbreakers.
Yeah, absolute titanium underwear kind of play, you know? You're welcome for that saying. I'm sure you're going to use that one. It's a good one.
You know, I honestly, I'm trying to work in slobber knocker.
How could you not?
It is what it is. I'll find a way. Somebody's gonna hear it at work tomorrow.
Ooh, I like that. I was thinking Tinder date. I was I was ruining your Tinder dates.
Oh, they
Oh,
would
sorry.
have to exist for that to ruin anything.
Do you still meet people at a newspaper stand? While
No,
you're getting
no.
your
The
while you're getting your
payphones.
Yeah.
Payphone booth.
you're getting your shoes shined.
Gotta ring them on my pager.
Hey, come over here. I couldn't help but notice you're dressed in the sunlight.
So
Anyway, Sunbreakers step up to the tier 2. They will get it easily. Eclipse find themselves on defense after Sunbreakers had just, you know, the pacing, the momentum kind of got hit hard a bit for me for stopping, but I think it'll work out because now that everybody has that EFG, Sunbreakers are free to do what they want with the map. Where if it wasn't on Koala, if it wasn't on Shady, you don't get to do that. Or excuse me, if it wasn't on Insert, you don't get to do that the same way. Everybody's got that regen. Koala, Zombie, Shady got the damage. I mean, right now things feel calm before the storm. We can joke, we can have fun. But Eclipse have to be ready.
This is dangerous territory.
Yeah, this is the Helm's Deep siege coming up.
We passed into uh-oh territory some time ago. Sunbreakers have every advantage in the world right now. You know, fire. That mini map's a little rough for me to see, but you know, they should have at least another 90 seconds on fire. I would like to think they're around 70, 80, 90 seconds. They absolutely get this T2. And they've got more than enough time on this EFG to continue on and make a Phoenix siege here. And the Eclipse is going to have to put on one hell of a defense. Somebody is going to have to go hard.
We've talked about legacy games. We talked about the need for FN7, the desire to make it to the finals and to finally get that ring. While Sunbreakers want to stay the dominant team, defending champs. 3 defending champs from all 3 divisions, all slammed onto one team. And this is their chance, this is their moment to push in and get themselves to that finals. A bomb on the Phoenix, it should drop. BoolCakes goes in aggressive, finds Byburthe in the back line. A perfect Rivers Rebuke to stall things out. A really good petrifying response, but they still haven't found the damage to follow things up. Frost in trouble, gonna get pushed back, and ShadyByrd gonna get the credit for it. Sunbreakers in deep into the Phoenix. Koala in trouble in the backline, however, as Bat Out of Hell will find the ADC for Sunbreakers. One member down that could potentially keep Eclipse in the game longer than they may have without getting that pick. Byburthe is nowhere to be found as the mid Phoenix is being sieged. Byburthe will probably come from that backline after healing up, But will there be an ADC for his team left as ShadyByrd's going to get the pick onto LuneyToons, and that's 2 Phoenixes down. Byburthe making its way over now will run into a BoolCakes who's pretty low, but the bird form just in time to get away. Solo Phoenix, new focus for the Sunbreakers. Eclipse trying to defend their last Phoenix, losing the good Phoenix, losing mid Phoenix. That means this next EFG is going to be even tougher for them to contest and get. They might have to rely on through space and time. This defense has gone from, all right, let's try to hold this out, to, oh my god, this could be it, very quickly.
Yeah, I feel like we've hit the point of the Helm's Deep siege where everybody's wondering what the hell happened when the gunpowder blew away half the wall.
Yeah.
We're definitely there. You know, 2 Phoenixes down, left and middle. EFG is coming up now. Now Eclipse will be alive for it. However, it is going to be tough to defend this, you know, and you have to. You have to defend this. You cannot just give this up.
Maybe they can send Frost and FN7 for vision and rely on through space and time. It looks like Looney's not going anywhere, currently farming out the fire minions that will be pushing in, which is important because Sunbreakers, if they get the EFG, will be beelining it into that throne room.
Well, I mean, maybe you just send Frost here, like he's done it once.
Well, here he comes. The EFG is at half health. This could be Eclipse's season on the line. This could be their chance at finals on the line. Poncho's hanging out. Fire Giants below half health. Poncho's setting up for it. Sunbreakers off at the EFG, however. They're focusing on the picks now. They're looking for FM7. Can they find it? LuneyToons not close by. Looney still in mid. Byburthe poked out and has to back away. Sunbreakers distracted, and they are taking poke. So Eclipse is buying the time they need, but they gotta get Byburthe out of there. Frost now also in deep trouble, but Poncho through the back with a surgical through space and time finds a pick onto Koala. Now begins the escape. Portals away from the volcanic lightning. There's the beads. Another portal. He's gonna get out. Unreal from Poncho. That could have bought Eclipse enough time.
Wow. I'm sure my eloquence will be remembered for years to come, but wow.
Well, I mean, in defense of your WoW, what more can you say? Poncho just, I mean, that keeps
Poncho's
Eclipse more than
to
alive.
rights. Dead to rights. Just, wow.
And you know, not to be overlooked, so was Byburthe.
Yeah.
Neither of them had any right to get out of there.
Well, and now in Byburthe's case, you know, we have what I talked about earlier, which is like the Camazotz. That's something he brings, the ability to get into that bat out of hell and just get out. And he got the full commit from Sun Wukong. Oh no.
Caught everybody
I did
sleeping,
not
us
even
included.
see that.
EFG goes to Sunbreakers. The good thing, if you're an Eclipse fan, we all got caught sleeping. But they never sent Looney to those fights. So they did push out waves. The waves are not pushed. They did just get Oni. So they got Oni waves helping them out to buy even more time. They're going to have all 3 Phoenixes up. Their Titan didn't take any poke to begin with. This is still a very difficult, nearing impossible siege defense. But it's not completely impossible, and that's the big thing. And we've seen that
So
the
you're
plays.
saying
We know what
there's
they're
a
going to do.
chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. I'm saying we're at the FN7 giving the speech. I mean, this might be the ride out moment. We're close to it. 40
Ride
minutes
out
is
and
around the
meet
corner. 10-17. Sunbreakers, defending champs, at your doorstep. Eclipse with a story they want to tell. You have to make it happen somehow. River's Rebukes have been on point. Defense has been okay. Damage has been great. Poncho's been a difference maker. Who's going to make this their moment? BoolCakes goes in aggressive, looking for Looney. Looney dashes forward. There's Rebuke to try to defend things out. BoolCakes forced into the sky early. There's the Petrify, doesn't find a home. Insert gets poked out and brought back by the Riptide. Can anybody find the pick onto the Ganesh? Not quite. Poncho's lurking for it. Byburthe gonna find Insert. Koala gets a double kill. That's problems for Eclipse. They looked like they had an opening, but they might have dove too deep. Sunbreakers stepping up, and they've got damage to boot. Looney's trying to find anybody, dashes through, but won't find it. That's 3 down, and the Sunbreakers are stepping into the throne room to take on Eclipse. The chances are dwindling. Can you stop the defending champions? Do you have a chance? Have you ridden out to meet them? So far they are. Eclipse is hanging on. Sunbreakers too low to siege. They had to let go of the Titan. They're backed up. There's a pull. No knock-up, quite good. No stun on Bull, but the Sunbreakers couldn't end yet. Eclipse lives on.
L Frost, the hero Eclipse deserves.
This
Oh
Hercules,
my.
man, unbelievable. You know, from a technical standpoint, that was a better defense than the one earlier.
Spectacular.
The
Oh my.
two-man knock-up trying to defend the Phoenix, and they're really doing a number on ShadyByrd. And the through space and time is gonna find Shady. Bull's gonna drop 2. No way! Eclipse! Do you believe in miracles? Because Eclipse is making one happen.
I'm speechless. I am utterly speechless. Frost is playing out of his mind. Beautiful through space and time from Poncho, but good lord.
This is one of those games where you almost have to stop the analysis. You almost have to sit back and enjoy it. Because what is there to talk about that we're not all seeing?
No, the viewers see what the hell just happened. I don't need to tell them that Frost just... Wow.
We're along for the ride. I mean, I'll do my best to get us through this, but at this point, we're absolutely along. They rode out,
This
and that
is,
part worked.
what did you call it? A slobber knocker.
Absolutely.
In fact, Eclipse, or okay, maybe not. I thought for a second that Eclipse were about to move on this EFG. Now it looks like Giannis is backing to clear up the waves and left, and I actually like Giannis going over to do it as opposed to Hercules, because Giannis can, he can still get her through space and time, which obviously he's had no problem connecting with.
And as an aside too, Zombie off the Toth, 50k damage again. Frost gets a stun onto Insert.
We are 42 minutes in.
It's dangerous. Keep your eyes on it, Z. Insert knocked back again. F and 7 standing up. They're buying time. Byburthe has arrived. Bat out of hell going to be used through space and time. Splits the middle.
So close.
That ultimate's down now, though. Sunbreakers know that ultimate's down. It's not down for a long time, but it's down. Sunbreakers might try to make a play off of it.
He does have the Chronos Pendant and the Staff of Mirrodin. That will be back up before you know it. Now Looney is headed over to defend these waves.
This is identical to what they did last time.
Yeah. It looks like Sunbreakers are going to go on the CFG. No reason for them not to, really, other than maybe the Frost factor.
Here we go. EFG is down to half health. BoolCakes is playing defense. Poncho does not have ultimate, so that's not going to be a chance for Eclipse to get that EFG. Sunbreakers have it around their belts, and they're going to step up aggressive, and they're trying to go quick. They don't want to give Eclipse time to think, time to move, time to do anything. We've bought enough time that the Titans are marching down lane again, and Sunbreakers are going to erase that Order Titan quickly. So there's going to be a Chaos Titan. There's one more wave of Fire Minions. A full team with EFG. Eclipse, this is your moment. Can you hold on? Or in Sunbreakers, this is your chance. Do you want to defend your title? River's Rebuke comes out. Poncho goes in with Through Space and Time. Damage good on 2 members of Sunbreakers, but no more than 2. Sunbreakers step back, not wanting to play it over aggressive. They still have a Titan marching down. Left Phoenix in trouble to fire minions. Nobody's going over to protect it so far. The Phoenix will not survive. Will it? It will, but barely. Giannis had to go over, though. That's no Giannis on the right-hand side. Sunbreakers haven't taken advantage quite yet, but they could any moment. They're going to get that solo side Phoenix and back up and wait for their Titan. ShadyByrd took a lot of poke. And they've been playing around Shady this whole time. Titan marching in, Eclipse on Death's Door.
This is nerve-wracking, and I'm not even playing in the damn game.
Sunbreakers are backing, so they're choosing to not use that Titan to help their siege.
You know, with the defense that Eclipse has been putting up, it honestly, as a general rule in Smite, right? Like, you don't fight into a team that has EFG. But Eclipse are doing it. They're doing it outside of the Titan room, you know, outside of the fountain. And they're doing it well.
45 minutes, 14-20, and Sunbreakers are marching down split, duo side, and mid-duo jungle split. The duo side Phoenix is low for Eclipse. They got to be ready. Our Sunbreakers is going to go in fast, and they're going to go in aggressive. BoolCakes gets a stun on FN7. Through Space and Time going to be used. At half health, ShadyByrd. Byburthe into the sky to follow up on it, but he's in deep. He has to come back with that bat out of hell. Insert got stunned back, but they couldn't find anything off of it. They're going to lose our duo Phoenix, and BoolCakes is going to get a pick onto LuneyToons. He did fall to Byburthe, but that's no more ADC for Eclipse, and that Petrify has been huge on this defense. Now Fire Minions will be coming in from both the left and the right-hand side. The Sunbreakers step up to the mid-Phoenix. Frost goes aggressive, trying to find anybody, anything to bring back to Eclipse for more picks, but he could not find it yet. Eclipse's strength has been in numbers in these defenses, and they've already lost 1. They gotta hold on 4-4 without that ADC. Koala could be a big difference maker here, so keep your eyes on the ADC of Sunbreakers. Sunbreakers still outside that mid-Phoenix, not stepping in yet. Dark Pillars comes out from Insert, but nothing comes from it. Sunbreakers still waiting for the right moment. They gotta respect the Giannis damage too. Still calm, still moments to breathe. No more Dark Pillars.
Yeah, they're moving in on it now, but here is the River's Rebuke.
And Koala
it's
was stuck in
good.
it! Poncho's in trouble though. He has to get away from ShadyByrd. He does! Poncho lives. Frost goes in, looking for somebody, looking for anybody, gets a stun back on the Insert, brings him back to the team. But they can't poke the Ganesh yet again. The mid-Phoenix still standing, Giannis dealing with the Fire Minions from the right-hand side. Sunbreakers
This
just can't
could
get
be
in.
big if they overcommit here. Looney's back up.
I can't believe they bought enough time for this Medusa to come back up.
That was a 74-second respawn timer. Just in case anybody was wondering.
Last season, I cast a game with Kingfisher in the Godlike Division, Dark Omen versus Eclipse, and I called it the set of the season. It was very similar to this. So far, this is my set of the season. And this game is, I mean, Ztan said it, and I said it. It's just, at this point, it's just being tense, and you're just nervous. Part of me doesn't even want to call anymore.
I'm sitting here biting my nails. I'm not even playing in the game.
BoolCakes is going to run into 3 members of Eclipse here.
Uh-oh.
Gets caught in the stun. Oxform gone. Somersault Cloud going to be forced. That should be enough for Bool to get away, but no more Somersault Cloud. Eclipse got to keep their eye on these Fire Minions. They got to keep an ever-present eye on them. That's going to be the biggest problem for Eclipse as they wait for this EFG to spawn. They're going to get their solo side Phoenix up. Duo side will be a bit tougher, as it's not even half yet. A little bit over half. Frost in deep, but just looking for something, looking for anything once again. Those pulls have been perfect, but they got to continue to be if Eclipse want anything off of it. Sunbreakers in the Fire Giant Ring. They're going to start up that EFG as Fire Minions step to the left-hand side of the map. Eclipse is putting all the cards on the table. They got everybody here. No more Looney defending that left-hand side.
Yeah,
Eclipse are going to commit. Sunbreakers are off the EFG. It's low. Through Space and Time goes through. Doesn't find the Fire Giant quite yet. Titan under attack, keep your eye on it. Eclipse goes in, Eclipse looking for something, looking for anything. Sunbreakers are low. They've got to back
Eclipse
up.
got the fire.
The EFG is on the belt of Eclipse. The underdogs don't die yet. Fire minions do step in to the Titan room. Sunbreakers are trying to keep Eclipse from backing, but ShadyByrd overplays it and Byburthe gets the pick. Sunbreakers grouped up and they've got Frost in their backline, causing havoc. Can Frost make anything out of it? Byburthe still lurking. Everyone's low on Sunbreakers, but Frost pays the price. And Zombie goes in, looking for Byburthe. Can Byburthe get away from things? He's stuck in between everybody. He won't. Petrify will find a home, but Looney can't go in on it. Cannot take that risk. So 2 gone for Eclipse, but they get the ultimate prize. They get the EFG.
I think the ultimate prize here is their Phoenix. However, Sunbreakers not having that EFG, because like I talked about earlier, Eclipse have been fighting into Sunbreakers with the damn EFG on them for 20 minutes now. And they've been, you know, very near succeeding in a lot of cases.
And now it's on Looney and Poncho.
Yeah. You know, Frost and Byburthe going down there, it sucks. But the important members, at least for an enhanced fire, have it. So this can be
Can't
big.
be caught sleeping here. Sunbreakers are going really quick towards that left-hand side of the map, and they're going to get a Phoenix. They're going to get it quick, but they are going to back off. That scared the crap out of me. Sunbreakers hit the go button so hard there that I thought they might be trying to just sneak in the face of Eclipse.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the EFG still on Looney. Everybody's got ults up. Relics are pretty good for the most part. If I'm Eclipse here, I am marching up left, and I am trying to even out this Phoenix situation.
You know, a lot of the stuff I said to you in the earlier games is becoming a lot more funny now. Magnum Opus comment, the Giannis Hercules comment, the Legacy game comments.
This is a banger. This is, in fact, a verified banger.
Eclipse.
Win, lose, whoever wins this.
Eclipse is at the tier 2 tower right now. Sunbreakers are at the Pyromancer. They're going to call it back because Eclipse is stepping up to a Phoenix, and they're going to get it. That's a Phoenix for Phoenix. Now Eclipse have to get out. That's the key to this situation. If they want to make this play work, they got to get out. They do have it through space and time if they want to do it. Sunbreakers begin the chase. They're going to hunt them down. Through space and time goes through for damage, and now Eclipse actually re-engages, looking for somebody, looking for a pick. They could find it if they're careful. BoolCakes is close. But Sunbreakers do get away. What a play from Eclipse. That has completely flipped the situation on its head. This is no longer a free step-in end game scenario for Sunbreakers. Not even close.
No, not at all.
That just reset the game.
You know, I just want to point out that, like, whoever wins or loses this and moves to finals, neither of these teams have a thing to be ashamed about. Both of them have played just spectacularly. This has been one of the better sets I have had, if not the best set I've had the fortune to cast within this league or without of it.
Frost is in deep looking for another setup. Byburthe around the side as well. There's some poke and Koala. Shady being chased away from Frost. Eclipse could use this to step up, but not quite. Tiamat's minions were put in the dual lane. So that means fire minions will favor Sunbreakers.
A bit.
At this point, I mean, any micro advantage for me matters. These two teams are just so evenly matched.
This next scuffle, I think this next scuffle might decide it.
I feel on the same page with you. I'm always afraid to commit at this point. but I am on the same page. I'm ready. I'm ready to die on the front lines for it.
Hey, look, I know you've pulled the end voice out a couple of times now, and you know just been foiled. But this,
That makes it more fun.
we're getting there.
The Phoenix is about to respond for Eclipse as well on that left-hand side. Sunbreakers are actually lightly starting off this EFG. FN7's already in the ring. Sunbreakers got it down to half health. The Ridge Rebuke comes out. Byburthe lurking. Frost close as well. Fire Giant's down to a quarter. Through space and time comes through. Doesn't find a home in anybody, but there's a two-man stun coming out from Frost. That's an opportunity for Eclipse, but can they make the most of that opportunity? They got a lot of damage coming across, and LuneyToons is going to find a pick onto Insert, and Sunbreakers have to retreat. The EFG is going to get not picked up. It got dropped. It was really low. I thought for sure Eclipse would step back, but they're looking for picks. Sunbreakers are forced to retreat out. Now Eclipse head back towards that EFG, but it's respond to full health. So they can't go for it. And Frost is getting looked at by Shady. Bull stepping up to keep them from backing too. Sunbreakers don't want to let Eclipse back. Eclipse maybe missed an opportunity there. And they've got ShadyByrd lurking now as well. They've got to play this really careful.
Yeah, this is dangerous territory. You know, Kama is over there just double checking to make sure, but the rest of the team is pulling this fire.
55 minutes in. EFG getting looked at once again. Poncho gets stuck with BoolCakes. He is
What
all
a
right.
stun.
He has to get away and reset, however. Left side Phoenix respawned for Eclipse. BoolCakes gonna run in the Frost. Frost trying to get back to the company of Eclipse. Byburthe not close. BoolCakes forced into Somersault Cloud. ShadyByrd goes aggressive, but he gets caught. Is able to get away through space and time. Not gonna find anybody quite yet, but Byburthe chases with a bat out of hell. That's a pick on the ShadyByrd. Frost uses through space and time to reposition. Sunbreakers find themselves in an awkward spot. Blades of Retribution comes out and finds a stun on the two members of Eclipse. Eclipse go back to the solo lane for some comfort. The duo side Phoenix has respawned for Sunbreakers as well. We're back to even somehow. That
Just had
fight
to say it.
never
I just
happened.
had to say it.
EFG now being started by Sunbreakers. FN7 close by. FN7 getting poked. Byburthe close too. BoolCakes looking for Byburthe. No through space and time available. The Fire Giant's down to a quarter. FN7 and Frost are going to be in the ring. Poncho's close too. Unstable Vortex. That's going to get it for Eclipse. Sunbreakers have to figure out something, and they got to figure it out quick. Eclipse smell blood in the water. BoolCakes forced into the sky. Fire minions were able to get that duo side Phoenix for Sunbreakers, so they're vulnerable. Eclipse group up as 5 and they step forward. Through space and time, gonna go wide right to Sunbreakers. Eclipse step up and they group up. Poncho, the lowest member. Keep your eyes on that Giannis. If he drops, this game changes. Petrified finds 2. Insert gets brought back. Looney gets a double. Eclipse find 2. 3 gone. Shady about to respawn. Eclipse outside of the solo lane Phoenix for Sunbreakers, healing up. TP back in from Frost. Sunbreakers have to defend down 2 members. Can they do what Eclipse has done so many times? Solo Phoenix drops, mid Phoenix next up. Eclipse playing this smart, playing it surgical. They're gonna get that mid Phoenix. Sunbreakers still on the defense. Eclipse ready to step into the throne room. Can Sunbreakers handle this? 5 strong, all healthy.
You got 50 seconds on Insert and Koala here. This is dangerous.
A Fire Minion wave is stepping in on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Frost steps in. Here we go. Fire Giant's dropping. The Titan's dropping low. Poncho's got Shady. Is that it? That's it. Defending champs no more. Eclipse marks their ticket to the finals. Eclipse win it in 3. For it to end like that for Sunbreakers, they did not even have a chance to put on the defense we've seen. Almost an hour-long game, and the damage was too much. And Eclipse have stamped their ticket and they're going to the finals. FN7 and company, LuneyToons with a double, have taken down the defending champions.
What a set. What a set. Holy cow.
I don't even want to break down what we saw, you know? I almost just want to give everybody pats on
No,
the back.
we all saw it.
I just want to, everybody played great. I mean, almost 80,000 damage for Zombie.
Well, I said it in game, and whoever won, whoever lost, both teams played spectacularly. That was one of the better sets I've seen. I got nothing. I got
3
nothing
seasons
else.
of SDL, and that ranks among top 3, top 2 matches we've ever had. Unreal. And you said it early. Nobody should feel bad about that, especially not Sunbreakers. I mean, depending on how the finals go between Eclipse and Wild Inferno, there might be people who look back at this set and say that this was the finals for Immortal. I would have killed to see these two teams go 5 games, but ultimately, Eclipse is taking the better of it. Ztan, give me your final thoughts, my friend.
My final thoughts are just a hell of a set. All of you guys that played in it, hell of a set. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed being here. Great stuff.
I echo that sentiment, my friend. This was Eclipse versus Sunbreakers in the Immortal semifinals. Our finals are set. You will have D-Lo, Phoenix, and Nooblet with Sunbreakers versus Wild Inferno in the Immortal finals. My name's been AnthonyMalum, joined by Ztan with Nooblet on production, and we just saw one hell of a match. And Season 3 of SDL has led to matchups like this, teams like this. You should all feel proud. You should all feel special. We'll see you next time in the Smite Draft League with finals around the corner. Thanks for watching. See you next time.